Breathe in on the way down. In through your nose, out through your mouth. We're almost done with our 20 count, and then we're going to go right back to that aerobic conditioning, that cardiovascular endurance. Looking good, you two. Looking good. Keep counting. Keep breathing deeply. Keep it up. No quitting. We got this. We got this. We're just getting started. Awesome. Awesome. Good. Give me one more. Put it down in that safe spot. All right. Back to the sprinting in place. Ready? Go. All right. Come on now. Kick up those knees a little bit. Kick up those knees. That's what I'm looking for. You don't have to have those arms stiff. Swing them up. You can swing them a little bit. Good. Go back and forth, back and forth. Swing those arms. Make it natural. Make it natural. Good. Breathe deeply. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Fuel your muscles with the oxygen it needs. Let's pitch those rhythms with cardio and muscular endurance. Got 10 more seconds. Good, good, good. Come on. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. That's it. That's what I was looking for. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Now we've got a narrow grip push-up. So let's get in the push-up position. Narrow grip. So let's lay down first so we can see how it looks. Lay down, lay down, lay down. Good. Turn those fingers out so we got the elbows rubbing the rib cage. Now pop up to the plank. Squeeze, squeeze your butt and gut. And give me a 20 count. Go. Awesome. Good, good. Look at this. Back and legs forming a straight line. That's what you're looking for. You don't want to sag or arch. Looking slightly forward, open the airway, and it'll also help you maintain neutral spine. Do the best you can, you two. Do the best you can. If you have to modify what you have to, but amplify what you can. Narrow grip, working on those triceps. Keeping those elbows close to your rib cage at all times. Reach that 20 count. Once you're ready and you hit that 20, then just be in the ready, and I'll call you to the next one. Good, good, good. On your feet. Good. All right, you ready to sprint again? Even if you're not, you're going to go. Go! Good, good, good. Let's have fun with this. This is just the first round. We're doing 3 rounds of this. And if you wanted to make it a longer workout, you can add a 4th set, a 5th set. It's really up to you. But we want to show you how we can make a 10-minute workout, roughly 10 minutes, what would be worthy of what you would normally do in a 40-minute workout. Burning calories today. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you're going to stay right there. You're going to go to the squat position. So legs spread, shoulder width apart, toes forward, hands at your sides. This time, if you can, we're going to leap on the way up. So squat down first and hold. Squat down and hold. And go. 20 count. Count on your own. Count on your own. Exhale on the way up. Breathe in on the way down. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Now look how Tanya, perfect alignment here. As she goes down, the tailbone goes back. That's maintaining neutral spine. If you're arching your back or sagging your back, you're doing it wrong. We want to make certain that you have right form. Count to 20, you two. Count to 20. Look at this, a nice little friendly competition going on. They're really matching each other quite well. Good job, you two. Keep going, keep going, keep going. All right, shake it off. You ready for that sprint again? Ready for round 2? You're ready now. Go! 2 are great. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Breathe deeply right away. Go right to that breathing. Pull all the air you possibly can into your lungs and make it as good as you can for your cardiovascular endurance as part of this workout. 10 seconds left, 10 seconds. And again, if you wanted to make it a longer workout, you could do 1-minute intervals or 2-minute intervals for the sprinting in place. Do what you can. 3, 2, 1. All right, we're back to the kettlebell swing. So pick up your kettlebell. Get ready. 2 hands here, 1 hand here. Ready? Begin. Count to 20. Now, we wanted to show you variations. This is the standard. But if you wanted to amplify, you want to try and work on your coordination, your dexterity in any way, this is a great way of switching. Each time it comes up, you're switching hands. You're still maintaining neutral spine by sticking the tailbone back as you go down. Perfect example here by Tanya. Colin over here, same thing, looking good, looking good. Count to your 20 when you're done. Just stand ready for the next exercise. Looking good, you two? Almost there? Good, good. Put it down, step back, cardio phase, begin. So we're in the middle of round 2. Our heart rate's picking up, but we're pitching these rhythms like this. We're going up and down these hills between the cardiovascular endurance or aerobic conditioning and the muscular endurance. 30 seconds of the cardio, and 20 repetitions of the actual muscular endurance workouts. We got 10 seconds left. They're breathing heavy in through their noses and out through their mouths. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Narrow grip push-up. Lay down. All right. Turn those fingers out. Tuck those elbows in. Pop up to the plank and get ready. Squeeze your butt and gut. 20 count. Go. Good. So I've been saying a lot to squeeze your butt and your gut. That way your back and legs will form a straight line as you do this. Look at this. Tanya's reaching muscle fatigue or muscle failure. That's good. What you want is a short, quick fix, 10-minute workout that's going to be as intense as what you would normally do in 40 minutes. That's what we're looking for. Good stuff, people. Good stuff. How we doing, buddy? How we doing? Good. One more. Stop. On your feet. 30 seconds cardio phase. Here we go. Go. Good. Now you see, if you need to modify, you just take longer breaks in between each of these exercises. But we're trying to show you extreme conditioning, metabolic conditioning. We have little or no break in between each set. They're doing a great job. We have 10 seconds left. Are you going to quit? No. Hell no. Good job. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's squat time. Squat time. All right. Let's get down to the squat position and hold. And 20 reps. Begin. So a modification for this particular exercise would be don't jump. Just do the squat. Maintain a 90-degree angle at those knees and just don't jump. And go slower if you need to. Right now, we're showing you the extreme conditioning version of this particular exercise. Plyo means jump. That's what we're doing right here. Picking up that heart rate, breaking that anaerobic threshold, doing a great job. You two are doing a fantastic job. Good. Almost there. And one more. Good. All right. Sprint time. Last set. No problem. We got this. So we've got this. Let's finish strong because we started strong. Begin. All right. Let's kick those knees up. That's it. Good. 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 Kick them up even a little more. You started so strong. Let's make certain that we finish even better. Good. 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 That's what I'm talking about. 20 seconds. Good. Now 15. Come on. Come on. Let's see more speed. More speed. Good. That's it. That's it. Awesome. This is the way it should look. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's kettlebell swing time. Muscular endurance. All right. Reach down. Pick up your kettlebell. We're still going for 20 repetitions. 20 repetitions. 2 hands here. 1 hand switching on top here. Ready? Begin. They're really doing a great job of maintaining proper form as tired as they are. Every time they go down, they're sticking their tailbone back, making certain that their back remains straight, neutral spine. They're breathing deeply in through their noses and out through their mouths. Good job here. Remember, you don't want to swing up so high that it's over your head and you'll be arching your back in any way. You don't want that. Maintain that straight back. 20 reps, you two. Count for yourselves and breathe deeply. Looking good. This is a tough workout, but we're going to fit it all in a short period of time. Good. Cardio phase again. Cardio phase. Ready? Go. Good. Good, good, good. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. That's what I was looking for. Awesome, awesome. Good. 20 seconds left. 20 seconds left. Fast feet, fast feet, fast feet. We're almost done with this workout. We don't have a lot of time in our lives because we're so busy, but this is how we're going to fit it in. So don't say you don't have time. 10 more seconds. If you say you don't have time, we're going to show you in 10 minutes what you can get a lot of calories burned in a short period of time. 3, 2, 1. Push-up time. Lay down first. Lay down. All right. Turn those fingers out so that we can get those elbows tucked into our rib cage for the narrow push-up to work on our triceps and our pectorals. 20 count. Go. All right. So last time that you're going to be doing push-ups today. And again, if you're at home and you wanted to make this a longer workout, add another full set of the entire routine or add a 5th set of the entire routine. But right now, we're working on 3 sets, a short, quick fix workout. Just tighten up your butt and gut. Don't let the back sag. Good job, Tanya. Way to fight it. Look at Colin over here doing a great job. No quitting here. We've only got a couple more exercises after this. Good, 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 good. Push, push, push. Go to muscle fatigue or muscle failure. That's what I'm talking about. Good, 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 good. Good. One more. Put. All right, on your feet. All right, cardio phase, last set. Begin. So if it's the last time we're doing the cardio phase, the sprinting in place, or what we call fast feet, let's see really fast feet. That's what I'm talking about. Meaning that each time you do this, try and outdo the speed and the intensity that you did in a previous set. That's what we're looking for here. 10 seconds left, and this is the best example that they had the entire time. Looking good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last exercise, plyometric squats, or called jump squats. All right, let's get down to the down position first. 20 count. Ready? Go. Good. Remember, stick that tailbone back every time you go down to keep that neutral spine. And again, if you need to modify, maybe you're not jumping at all. Maybe you're just doing the squat. Do the best you can. This is an awesome example of how to do this exercise right. Exhale on the way up. Breathe in on the way down. In through your nose, out through your mouth. How do you feel? Good. All done? Spent, but not impossible. You feel good? And that's what it takes. That's all it takes to burn a lot of calories in a short period of time. Stay the course.
Wildfires are becoming more frequent and intense, with seemingly more fires every year. And with those fires, another threat emerges: pyrocumulonimbus clouds, or PyroCVs.
PyroCVs, this is a thunderstorm that develops directly over a large and intense wildfire. We think of these thunderstorms as giant chimneys. So they're filled with smoke particles. The smoke is being accelerated rapidly upward in the atmosphere. And it basically makes one of the dirtiest thunderstorm clouds you'll ever see. It's very dark.
But these aren't your run-of-the-mill thunderstorms. They have a profound impact on the atmosphere. The full effects of these clouds on the atmosphere aren't well understood, and that can impact warfighters in the field and ongoing operations.
Sometimes that smoke can reach as high as the lower stratosphere, and so that can create effects downstream in terms of changes in weather. It can have effects on the atmosphere in terms of how much solar radiation is being absorbed and reflected. It's really a gap in our forecasting capabilities.
Reliable weather forecasting is critical.
So at the Navy, the efforts we do are focused specifically on hazards that might affect the warfighter. This is the case in any type of military exercise. The weather matters. It matters a lot in terms of planning, in terms of effectiveness. The group that I work with at the Naval Research Lab is focused on visibility, aerosol particles in the atmosphere, effects on radiation. Wildfire smoke is a big piece of this. So being able to forecast where smoke plumes are and at the right altitudes matters a lot.
That's why NASA and the Naval Research Laboratory have joined forces to tackle this fiery enigma.
We have our own field experiment that is about to start. It's funded by NASA. It's led by NRL. It's a great collaborative effort. It's called the Injected Smoke and Pyrocumulonimbus Experiment, or INSPIRE for short. And so for the next few years, we're going to be working a lot to really make major advancements in this study of extreme wildfires and pyrocumulonimbus.
The ultimate goal is to improve our predictive weather modeling, better serving DoD personnel and first responders who need accurate weather data.
It's a situation where I think many different groups will benefit, and it's great to be kind of in the middle of all that. It's a very exciting time for all of us here at NRL and many other groups.
Today we've got an arm blaster for you. The 3 exercises that we're going to work today, the seated dip, the dumbbell hammer curl, and a dumbbell tricep kickback. We're going to do 3 sets to focus on muscular endurance and aerobic conditioning with little or no break in between each set. That is what is called extreme conditioning. Right now, we're going to get started with our first set. All right, guys, so let's get ready for the seated dip. You want to make certain that you got a slight bend in your knees, heels are really rooted in there. You've got a neutral spine, back is straight, and we're going to focus on the triceps for the first exercise. 20 repetitions. Ready? Begin. You don't want to go so fast that there's a jerking movement of any kind. You want to make certain that you can maintain neutral spine where the back is perpendicular to the ground, a few inches away from the bench as you do it. You want to exhale on the way up and breathe in on the way down. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Notice there's no fast jerking motion right here. This is nice, it's fluid, graceful. That's the way to do it. You're almost done here, so let's do a countdown from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, guys, go ahead and sit on the bench. Let's grab those dumbbells and let's get right to the biceps exercise. All right, so they're going to stand in a neutral position where their feet are shoulder width apart and toes forward. Lock those elbows into their rib cage for the dumbbell hammer curl. Begin. We're going for 20 repetitions again. The key mistake made on this exercise is a lot of times that elbow will shift forward or go behind the rib cage. You want to lock it in, that it's almost attached right there at the rib cage. Exhale on the way up. Breathe in on the way down. In through your nose, out through your mouth. We're focusing on now on the front part of the upper arm. That's the primary, those biceps. Going for 20 repetitions. We're almost done here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we're going to stay in this position, but for the triceps kickback, we're going to hold both of these dumbbells. Hinge forward to the hips first, guys. Slight bend in your knees. Now, let's get you in that right position right about there. Elbows up behind you and maintain that back position. Begin. Now, whatever you got left on your triceps, here's where you're going to cook them off. You try and make certain that that elbow stays as high as possible so that the upper part of the arm is parallel to the ground at all times. Exhale on the way up. Breathe in on the way down. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Oh, I know these guys are working it now. I know their arms are just screaming. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's get the dumbbells down, back in the floor. Round 2, we're doing 3 sets. If you want more than just a 10-minute workout or so, then you can probably do 4 or 5 sets. But I think our arms are going to really feel it even after 3. Round 2, here we go. Begin. Now look at these guys. Look at these guys. That slight bend in the knees is really for protection. You know, in case you do slip or fall, you've at least got your legs to leverage you, to keep you in a very safe and effective workout. Back is still perpendicular to the ground. Looking good, guys. Remember, we're focusing on the triceps right now. Look at that. That's awesome. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on up. Shake off those hands before you grab those dumbbells. Good. All right. Now, let's stand. Sturdy. Good. Feet shoulder width apart, toes forward. Lock those elbows into your rib cage. 20 reps. Go. Good job, guys. Now we're going to the other side of the upper part of the arm. We were on the back. Now we're working on the front. We're really working on those biceps right now. Sculpting, 20 reps. Anything that's over 10 reps, we're going for that muscular endurance phase, that sculpting phase. It's still strength building, but definitely it's a way of sculpting the body. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time to go to the back part of the upper arm again. Hinge forward. A little more right here. Got it? Perfect. Good. Awesome. Now get those elbows up behind you and 20 reps. Kick back. Go at your own rate. You never want to have a jerking motion at all. Exhale on the way back. Breathe in when you go down. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Breathe naturally and deeply at all times. By now, this is really the climactic part of this little quick fix workout. They're feeling it. Their arms are just burning right now. Then you know you're doing it right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's put the dumbbells down, guys. You got room for one more? Can we handle it? All right, good. Awesome. And look it, this is taking no time at all. So don't say you don't have time, because you do have the time. Last set, 3 exercises. Begin. Even after all these exercises, all these multiple repetitions, they're still maintaining really great form. I hear the breathing, it's picked up, heart rate's up, they're exhaling on the way up and breathing in on the way down, in through their noses and out through their mouths. These guys are doing a great, great job. Go to muscle failure if you have to. Do the best that you can. 3, 2, 1. Relax. All right. 2 more exercises, guys. That's it. You're doing a great job. All right. Get in that right position. Make certain there's always a slight bend in your knees, even when you're standing up. Promote circulation. All right. Hammer curl. Ready? Begin. Good job, guys. Keep those elbows locked into your rib cage. Again, we're focusing now on the front part of the arms, those biceps. And since we're doing multiple repetitions, what we're doing right now is we're working on that sculpting, that muscular endurance, and the aerobic conditioning at the same time, because we're doing 3 sets with little or no break. 3, 2, 1. The final exercise. All right, so let's get in that right position. Hinge forward at the hips, elbows back. Whatever you got left, let's use it. Go. Good stuff, guys. Awesome job. Get those elbows up. Get those elbows up. You can do this. Don't give up. Don't give up. This is all about just burning the arms out. This is the best thing that I could think of for making yourselves those sculpted arms you've always wanted. Awesome. A little bit left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Dumbbells down on the ground. Shake it off your hands. How do you feel? Awesome job. And that's all it takes to really get the sculpted arms that you've always wanted. Stay the course. Our exercises today are great for scapular retraction or exercises that just improve the posture. We're going to be doing some back extensions. We're going to be doing some deadlifts, and we're also going to be doing some wide dumbbell rows. Are y'all ready for this? It's extreme conditioning at its best. So go ahead and get on your bellies for the first exercise. Extreme conditioning means little or no break in between each set. Clasp your fingers behind your head. We're going to do those back extensions first. 20 counts, slowly, begin. Now, the reason why it's called extreme conditioning is because we're going to take little or no break in between each set. This is a perfect opportunity for us to get that maximum effect, that calorie burning, so that in a short period of time, we can do in 10 minutes what would normally take 30 or 40. Beautiful work, you two. Exhale on the way back. Breathe in on the way down. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Almost there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the hand grip. Push off with your hands so you come up without straining your back. Now watch your step. We're going to do the dumbbell deadlift and the barbell deadlift. An amplification and a standard. The modification, no weight at all. All right, so reach down, get the right grip. You're already ready. 15 count, 20 count, ready, begin. Good, now notice over here on the amplification, you don't want to come up so straight that you're leaning back with that particular movement. You want to make certain that you're still coming up with a slight bend in your knees to promote circulation, never arching backward, neutral spine at all times. Perfect example of how to do this exercise. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, you stay right there, Corby. Jordan, grab your dumbbells, and let's both do some rowing exercises now. All right, so hinge forward, keep the bend in your knees, and let's row. Awesome, good. Pull those elbows back. Pull them back, pull them back. There you go. Beautiful, Jordan. Tilt the head a little bit more forward. That's it. That keeps neutral spine. And remember, those shoulder blades go into the back pockets. That's how you make that straight back. Beautiful job. Exhale on the way back. Breathe in on the way down. In through your nose, out through your mouth. 2 of you look great. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put the dumbbells in a safe spot. Y'all ready for round 2? Hey, you're just getting into it. That's right. Good. Let's get down to our bellies. Get comfortable. Fingers clasped behind your head. 20 count. No jerking motion. Ready? Begin. What I really love about the way they're performing this exercise is that they're not pulling back so hard that there's a stuttering action of any kind. And that's exactly what you want out of this exercise. Focus on the lower back. Exhale on the way back. Breathe in on the way down. In through your nose, out through your mouth. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the hand grip. Push off with your hands. Watch your step, Jordan. Let's go ahead and let's go to the deadlifts. Get yourself ready. We'll be using dumbbells over here and the barbell over here. The amplification, the standard. Modification, no weights at all. Ready? Begin. Good. Jordan, good job on the form. You too, Corby. Perfect. Awesome. Bend as low as you can go without compromising form. Form is everything. That's the safety factor. Looking good. Keep that breathing deep and intense. Natural. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Almost there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Corby, stay there. You release carefully. Grab your set of dumbbells. We're going to go right to the rowing exercise and get that back blaster workout we've always wanted. All right, ready? Hinge forward. Begin. Good. Pull those elbows back. Pull them back. There you go, Corby. Awesome job. Good. Keep that back straight. Looking real good. There. Awesome. Breathe. Exhale on the way back. Breathe in on the way down. Looking good. That's the way it should look. Looking good. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put the dumbbells in a safe spot. Are you ready for the final round? Yeah, let's do it. All right. And if at home you got more than 10 minutes, try 4, 5 sets. Right now, we're just going for that quick fix workout, extreme conditioning style, little or no break in between each set. The final round. Ready? Begin. Good. Look at that. Right away, we've got this graceful motion. It's not so fast that there's a jerking motion at all. It's nice. It's graceful. This is the way it should look. Pull back even a little more if you can, buddy. How far you pull back? Well, if you compromise form, you've pulled back too far. This is looking great. Go to muscle fatigue or muscle failure. That's what it's all about. Almost there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the hand grip. Push off with your hands. Watch your step, Jordan. Let's go right to our deadlifts. Last set on the deadlifts. Line yourselves up. The standard, the amplification. This is the way it's going to look. Ready? Begin. And notice, as soon as I said begin, they go right to their breathing techniques. They're exhaling at the point of exertion. That means for this particular exercise, they're exhaling on the way up and breathing in on the way down. In through their noses and out through their mouths. Awesome. Look how bending. This bending is so low. It's more than a squat, but not so much that there's unwarranted strain in the knees. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Corby's going to keep the dumbbells. Now Jordan's going to pick up a set and match her. Last exercise, hinge forward. Get those elbows high and ready. Begin. Awesome. Awesome. All right, let's roll those shoulders back. Relax those shoulders. There you go. Nice correction. Good. See how we're doing over here, buddy. Push down in here so we got that straight back. Yeah, there you go. Tilt that head a little forward. Good. Remember, just focus on that upper back. Focus on the upper back. Almost there. Exhale on the way back. Breathe in on the way down. In through your nose, out through your mouth. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Put it back in a safe position. Shake off your hands. How do you feel? Your backs feel good? And that's the way it should feel. And that's all it takes to get that back blaster workout, working the entire back, as well as some other muscles in our bodies as well. Extreme conditioning style. It means little or no break in between each set. Stay the course. We're going to need a set of dumbbells for the 3 exercises that we're going to work today. We're going to do dumbbell step-ups, dumbbell squats, and dumbbell side lunges. You want to grab a weight that's either medium to lightweight each. All right, for that first exercise, the dumbbell step up, we're going to supercharge our heart rate, and we're going to work our quadriceps and our deltoids at the same time. So let's pick up these dumbbells, face the bench. It's approximately 18, 24 inches off the ground. 12 is also an acceptable height. Whatever foot you want to start off with, as long as you step up with both feet planted and then step back down slower than you went up. Ready? Begin. Now, immediately as you start to do this exercise, you're going to feel your heart rate pick up and pick up and pick up. So what you want to do is focus on the breathing. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Exhale on the way up. Breathe in on the way down. But as the speed picks up and you're performing this exercise, you're just going to have to do it maybe every other repetition if you're controlling that breathing. Good. Make certain the dumbbells are about 2 to 4 inches away from the legs so they don't bang up against the thighs. We're about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, leave those dumbbells in your hands. We're going to go right to the squat. Face each other. Might be a nice way of, competing against each other. And let's give another 20 count. Begin. Now, as you're doing the squat exercise, you want to make certain that you stick your tailbone far behind you as you do this. That'll maintain neutral spine. Good job, Corby. And again, 2 to 4 inches away with the dumbbells so they don't rub up against your legs. Good job, Jeremy. That's it. Keep going. Maintain neutral spine by sticking that tailbone far back behind you as you go down. And exhale on the way up. Breathe in on the way down. In through your nose, out through your mouth. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, the next exercise is a side lunge. We're going to start by going toward the front. Are you ready? Good. All right, let's do this. Begin. Now, you want to make certain that you don't put any unwarranted strain on the knee that's bending. By doing that, you want to maintain neutral spine, and notice that the foot position is always going to be squared off, meaning that as much as you can, bring those toes pointed forward. And as you're slotting those dumbbells, one onto the inside and one to the outside, still 2 to 4 inches away from the legs. Now we're working the side part of our legs, our piriformis, our gluteus minimus and medius. We're just working everything in our body right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put the dumbbells on the bench just for a few seconds. All right. Shake off the hands. Round two, 3 full sets. And if you want to do more at home and just make it better, then go for it. But pick up the dumbbells again. Step up time. Remember, fully step up. Stand up on the platform and stand back down. Ready? Begin. Again, we're going for a 20 count on repetitions. We're on round 2. We're going to do 3 sets for this particular workout. And if that happens, if you catch it on the way up, don't worry about it. Just remember, focus on stepping up and stepping down safely and effectively each time. They're about halfway through, so we're going to give a 10 count. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. All right, let's get ready for that standard squat. Face each other again. All right. You ready? Begin. Remember, don't compromise your form. If you start to compromise your form, then you might have already gone as far as you can go. And then maybe try it again next time. But we're going for 20 repetitions per exercise and 3 full sets. If you want to do 4 or 5 and make it a longer workout, that's just more calories burned. Awesome. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold on to those dumbbells. Now we're doing the side lunges. Ready? Going to the front first. Begin. Good. And remember, 2 to 4 inches away with those dumbbells so they don't bang against your legs. You two are doing a great job at maintaining proper form. Keep those legs so that the feet face in neutral position, facing forward. Good job. You're about halfway through on round 2. Heart rate starting to pick up. We're working every single muscle in our body, and by holding those dumbbells, we're making it even harder. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's put the dumbbells back on the bench. Shake off the hands. Y'all ready for round 3? I know you are. All right. So let's do this. Pick up the dumbbells again, get a good grip, square yourself off, and remember, step fully up and fully down, 20 count, begin. Now, I can already hear that their breathing is picked up. And that means they're doing it right. They're still maintaining a natural breathing in through their nose and out through their mouths, deeply as they can. You want to always exhale at the point of exertion. For this particular exercise, it's when they're going up. Good job, you two. We're going to give a countdown from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. We're going to keep those dumbbells in our hands. We're going to do standard squats facing each other. 20 count again. 20 count again. Ready? Begin. Good. Don't compromise your form. Stick your tailbone back behind you. Every time you go down, bring that tailbone back, and that'll keep your neutral spine position. Good. 2 to 4 inches away with the dumbbells so they don't bang up against your knees or your thighs. Good job, you two. Breathe deeply. Exhale on the way up. Breathe in on the way down. Feel your deltoids burning and your quadriceps and your thighs. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The final exercise, the side lunge. Going to the front first. Square off. Ready? Begin. Again, we're going for a 20 count. If you want to intensify this workout, do a little more. And instead of just a quick fix workout, you can do 4 sets, 5 sets. It's purely up to you. Notice they're still maintaining proper form. Feet pointed forward as much as possible to not put in any unwarranted strain on the knees. We're about halfway through. They're breathing deeply. They're exhaling on the way up and breathing in on the way down as much as possible. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and put the dumbbells on the bench. Shake it off. How do you feel? How do you feel? You should feel good. And if you stick to that, you're going to feel that your muscular endurance and your aerobic conditioning are going to be at a new level each time. Stay the course.
This is America's first true homeland security.
The most state-of-the-art, largest weapons in the U.S. artillery.
Monstrous guns.
It's awesome.
Absolutely massive. It was a little self-contained city. They were ready to repel the invaders.
Allied shipping was being torpedoed right off the coastlines. The front lines were definitely here.
We didn't know if he would attack this East Coast or not.
These are Delawareans literally protecting their own shoreline.
And we were ready for anything that come on this coast.
Along this quiet stretch of Delaware State Beach, concealed within the dunes and the scrub pines, stands a monument to those who would protect America's home front during World War II. More than 70 years ago, as the armies of Nazi Germany marched through Europe, citizens along this coast prepared for war. It was here citizen soldiers stood watch and braced for attack as part of America's Home Guard.
The U.S. Engineering Department, operating on orders from the Department of the Army, decided in 1940 that they were going to build a fort at the mouth of Delaware Bay to protect the Delaware estuary, which included Maryland to the south and New Jersey to the north. And they picked this spot. This is the second largest sand dune between Maine and Jockey Ridge, North Carolina. So you're actually up in the air in a little state that's barely up in the air, okay? This is the highest point on the Delaware beach.
The idea was to control the river, the access to the ports. The plan, of course, revolved around monstrous 16-inch guns. In 1941, early 1941, we started building Battery Smith, which was the 16-inch battery.
Along with Battery Smith, engineers and builders began to lay out a fortress hidden in the sand, bristling with heavy guns and other defenses.
2 batteries of 6-inch guns, 1 battery of 2 16-inch guns, 1 battery of what became 2 12-inch guns, but they also had much smaller guns, 155s, and 8 8-inch railway guns. And on top of that, dozens of searchlights, radar, and really good radio systems. They built these towers as fire control towers. They were used to triangulate and provide fire control solutions for these guns. All of this in response to the perceived threat from the German Navy.
It was built to fight the German surface fleet. They had a mighty fleet in World War I, if you remember. We thought they were going to repeat the same in World War II. We knew about their big ships.
It was a very, very real threat in the minds of the war planners. In 1938, the War Department gamed out a scenario here in the Delaware Bay where a German fleet would come and blockade it, where shipping couldn't get out and get over to Europe where it might be needed. So they increased defenses all along this area.
The units that were here, mostly the 261st Coast Artillery, this is Delaware National Guard. These are Delawareans literally protecting their own shoreline.
The state of Delaware had 2 National Guard units. They had the 198th Anti-Aircraft, and they had the 261st Coast Artillery. When they came back home from training in 1939, that's when I joined the 261st. It's sort of strange, and I sort of put 2 and 2 together, that they had an inkling that we were going to go to war, and they were asking for people to join. And I said, well, I'll join. I was young. I was only going into my 18th year. And it was $1 a night for training. And, that was some spending money. $1 back in those days was quite a bit of money to us young kids. And we only got paid every 3 months. And we would train once a week. And then on the end of the 3rd month, they would pay us. And well, I'll tell you, we were rich back in those days.
Those months of drill for the 261st would eventually include a trip in April 1941 to a training outpost on the Delaware State coast, known then as Camp Henlopen.
I had a corporal's rating at that time, and so they sent half of the unit on 3-day maneuvers. Well, the first night we were here, we came down. We woke up the next morning, and we were landing water. We had a thunderstorm during the night.
3 days of training quickly became a permanent basing for the 261st, with talk of war on the horizon.
We were to protect the mouth of the Delaware Bay and the heavy industry up on the Delaware River, up as far as New Jersey and up above Philadelphia.
I think that the War Department really did understand that this is the role we need them to be in. We don't have the Army big enough to do these roles, and these men are here.
The first guns that were brought in were towed 155 millimeter guns.
I was really proud of my gun. My gun was #1 gun, and it was on alert at all times. #1 gun was the first gun to be fired if we had to fire it. And I was #1 breech man on that gun. We would compete against one another, #1 gun, #2, and 3 and 4. I thought we were doing a great job protecting our shorelines.
There was another point to this too, and that is not only were we looking out in the Atlantic and saying to the Germans, we're waiting for you, we're watching for you, we're ready for you. We were also saying to America, we're ready for them. We're watching for them. we have the ability to deal with them if they come.
You had to have been there. I mean, you had to be prepared. Their homes were right here, you know, and they were ready to fight and die and defend their homes.
Well, it was a little scary because we didn't know what was down the road, what was going to be coming at us.
Conquering armies now stood on the shores of the Atlantic. The danger was suddenly close.
We knew that Hitler had one heck of a navy. We were told quite a bit about it. He had a tremendous air force, and he had the SS troopers, and you know, he had quite an army. That guy did. We didn't know if he would attack this East Coast or not. That was the thing that was on my mind.
American coast artillery was very, very good. They were taught to fire 3 shots, and the 3rd shot is going to be on you.
December 7th, 1941 was a day that would change the lives of many Americans, including Horace Knowles.
I heard a knock come at the door, and they said, it was a soldier. He said, get back to the fort as quick as you can get there. He said, we've been attacked. Golly, who did that? He said, the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. He said, we will now be at war. All I can visualize was that our boys in Hawaii were being killed. And the same thing could happen to us if the Germans had got in here on this East Coast. And the next day was the worst of it when they told us the next day just how many were killed. It wasn't very pleasant.
When they read that 2,000 American sailors had been killed at Pearl Harbor, yeah, it's so far away, but American sailors had been killed and the country was at war and suddenly attacked, just like we were attacked on 9/11. I'd ask people to think back to 9/11. I actually think back to September 12th because in 9/11 we got attacked. Now these guys, their 9/11 was Pearl Harbor, where if on December the 6th you didn't care much about things, on December the 8th you really cared about it. Your whole life changed. America changed overnight. 16 million men and women were under arms. Every American male between the ages of 18 and 35 was involved in some way in the war effort.
At that time, we were looking out for a landing and an attack.
They were very afraid of German saboteurs coming ashore. So this beach was run by the military. You had to have a pass to be on it. It was patrolled on horseback. It was patrolled on foot.
Their base was now known as Fort Miles, and as troops stood watch, the guns of the 261st Coast Artillery were at the ready.
Any activity was on that ocean. Any activity, regardless of what it was, when we'd seen the ship, even our own ships, we would call in. The Navy would radio it in to the headquarters. And then, of course, we would immediately man the guns until the ship was identified. After it was identified, why then that was the end of the drill. One night, there was a ship come in, and the Navy was flashing the Morse code out. They wouldn't answer. And so our orders at that time was to fire 3 shots. Fire 1 ahead of the ship, 2 over the ship, 3rd one to hit it. And we gave the orders to fire that night. Fired the 3 shots, but that shot went over the top of that ship, that shell. And they came out and they were just waving sheets and everything, you know, and they stopped dead in the water, like that ship did. We took our training seriously. They had boats to pull the targets up and down the coast. And we won quite a few medals with those 155s. We were good at no getting around it. I'll brag about my outfit anytime against anybody. We were aces.
With the wartime buildup came more troops and more guns, big guns.
Hundreds of these men came here, first in a tent city, hundreds and hundreds of tents.
When we built Tent City, now that was an ordeal. And we had these little pot-belly stoves. And in the wintertime, God, it was cold. And they get that stoves fired up, and that stack going up out through the top of that tent would be cherry red. First thing you know, look up, you'd see a flame. The tent would be on fire. And then the latrines, oh, they were pitiful. But we managed. When we first came, we had to do a lot of labor work. We were assigned to different jobs to help the contractors that were working here.
They started pouring thousands of yards of concrete and setting these big underground bunkers in concrete and rebar to house these big guns.
One of those bunkers would be known as Battery 519, housing 2 big guns capable of firing monster 12-inch diameter shells.
The technical term is a casemate. It's built like Hoover Dam. The actual weight, we estimate, is about 100,000 tons. The guys here, because it was built by local Delaware guys, they built it better than it had to be built. The sand dune itself was excavated by the U.S. Army Engineering Department, the forerunner of the Corps of Engineers. The sand was all taken away. The forms were laid for the concrete. Concrete was poured, the steel was put in, and then the guns were in place and the sand was put back. 2 big guns facing out, 2 12-inch guns. This particular gun behind me could take on an enemy 15 miles away.
Absolutely massive, mounted on very heavy steel girders. These gun rooms were completely open to the elements, but the guns themselves would be on a kind of turntable and would have a shield in front of them to give the crew a modicum of protection from incoming fire.
The bunker, the casemate is 420 feet long inside. The guns themselves are serviced with a powder room and a shell room. So there's a powder room, a shell room at each end. Typically, this battle station would have somewhere around 100 men in it. It was a little self-contained city. It had its own power source, had its own water source, had its own food source. It was in radio contact with everybody else up and down the beach.
All right, you'll notice that there were different levels. And at some levels, it was just a regular lookout. At other levels, they were actually using the rangefinders.
They built these towers as fire control towers. They were used to provide fire control solutions for these guns.
And they knew the exact distance from that tower to a certain point. Each one of those tower levels, you've got different windows, was a different weapon system.
Their whole purpose was to spot and provide distance, range, and coordinates so that the plotting room could plot firing solutions, which would then be transmitted to the gun crews. And they would do that on an interval so that they could track the ships.
American coast artillery was very, very good. When the alert came, the first gun to take the enemy had 30 seconds, and they practiced that all the time.
When he is satisfied that the battery is ready to open fire, the command, "Commence firing," goes to all elements of the battery.
They had 3 minutes to get every gun on the enemy. These guys knew that body of water out there, every millimeter. And if you came in their comfort zone, they were taught to fire 3 shots. And the 3rd shot is going to be on you.
Fire!
Every gun here ranges out to at least 15 miles. So you're under a blizzard of 6-inch shells, 2 12-inch shells coming at you, and 2 16-inch shells. And the guys were really, really good.
As the work of building Fort Miles continued, the men of the 261st settled in for the mission of guarding the coast.
And of course, when we moved into the barracks, it was altogether a different life. It looked like the same old barracks. We had nice bunks, mattresses, which we didn't have in Tent City. And we had running water, we had hot water, and the barracks was really nice. we were glad to have them. A lot of time we would be playing cards, you know, and we had radios. And of course, every payday we'd have a big crap game. And then other time we would sit there and play cards or shoot pool. It was just a great bunch of guys. And your buddies, they would help you and protect you.
Even as soldiers of Fort Miles stood watch and their guns took aim, an unseen enemy was lurking off the coast.
The German fleet that came was the German submarine fleet.
We were mostly concerned with surface fleets. And then, of course, the Germans quickly changed the game by building their submarine fleet and wreaking havoc. You could stand out here on top of the Great Dune and at night see shipping on fire.
You can imagine being a soldier here and watching these ships being torpedoed and exploding out on the horizon, watching the glows from the fires out there. You can imagine how heartbreaking that must feel, or how helpless that must feel, but it brought the war home. The front lines were definitely here.
Hold coordinate. Ready? Mark!
Today, the history of Fort Miles is alive and well in the hearts and minds of a new generation of Americans. They seek to honor the memory of America's greatest generation of warfighters as the 261st Coast Artillery Reenactors.
So what we're trying to do is capture that local unit here at Fort Miles, and we're trying to portray them as they were here during World War II. We chose the 261st because we wanted to reenact a unit that was relevant to here. We're replicating the daily life of the soldier here at Fort Miles, the weapons they were stationed on, how those operated, and bring that to life for the public. I've been a student of World War II since I was about 12 years old. When I found out this was a World War II fortification, someplace I could come and touch and sink my fingers into and really learn, I was hooked. And so I wanted to learn all I could about Fort Miles. Our volunteer force comes from everywhere. There's a lot of guys that come from as far away as Massachusetts and Texas. We've got one guy that drives from San Antonio to come out and be a part of these events that we hold annually.
As a unit, we try to stick to a specific date of 1942. Sometimes we have access to the actual unit rosters from 1942. We look down and, 6 or 7 guys from the battery we actually reenact were from Rehoboth, which is my town. So I looked at it, I'm like, man, that could have been me if I was born 70 years ago. It's a really cool feeling.
My name is Anthony Valenti. I'm a tech corporal with the 261st Coast Artillery, and I'm also the battery clerk. I got started with Scott Wallen. He is the ordnance officer, and he pulled me right in, and I love it.
The shells, when they were called for at the breech of the gun, were taken out of the room, lifted up, taken across on a railway system, and delivered to the breech of the gun, down through the hallway.
Never really knew what was out here until my friend told me about it, and I met Dr. Gary Ray.
Reinforced. You can see the rebars inside.
Especially after Pearl Harbor. It was entirely, completely patriotic. They loved what they did. They were happy to be out here and be serving the country.
All right, what we have here is a 1942 weapon carrier Model 55. My name is Donald G. Hattier. I'm the first sergeant for the 261st Coast Artillery, based at Fort Miles, Delaware. The first sergeant's duties traditionally are taking care of the troops. Their bunks are fine, that they're properly fed. World War II is discussed in European theater, Africa. You got the China, Burma, India theater. You've got things that happen everywhere, but people rarely talk about the home front. And our coasts were really very actively defended, especially in the early part of the war. We need to be ever vigilant, even here in the United States, and that was the purpose of the 261st.
Oh yeah, cool. There were a lot of people here at one time. Okay, thanks. Be safe.
I think for a lot of us, and me in particular, I'm trying to convey to today's kids what it was like 60, 70 years ago. So these things, when they work, they work.
They were probably overrated for military purposes.
Most
anyway.
military things,
Right.
even then.
Okay, my name is Michael Hills. I'm the chaplain for the 261st Coast Artillery, Battery C, Fort Miles, Delaware. The chaplain's duties would have been a variety of things, other than holding chapel services and religious services for the men. Would have been doing personal interviews and encouraging the men. Would have been a counselor.
I think that for most of these guys, from what I gather, it is a way for them to thank the greatest generation and to educate the next generation on what it is they did here.
Some of the 261st reenactors are taking their devotion to the unit a step further with service for real in the 198th Signal Battalion, part of the modern-day 261st Signal Brigade.
I wanted to join the military all my life, but being a part of this group of people and this family, and as a group, we are a family. The 261st is definitely a family. I wanted to experience that for real, and I wanted to wear the uniform for real. So that really encouraged me to go ahead and sign on the dotted line. I'm a specialist in the Delaware Army National Guard with 198th Signal Battalion, which means that we will go out and set up battlefield communications via satellite for warfighters on the ground overseas. And interestingly enough, I'm serving with the same unit that I reenact, which is pretty cool. I'm following in their footsteps. Horace Knowles is a perfect example. The things that he did out here at Fort Miles and the things that I do with my unit, 70 years apart, there's still parallels. And that brings me, I think, personally, a little bit closer to those veterans who served, and it just gives us that common thread, and I enjoy that very much.
A few of our guys that do reenacting here, and they're young, they're getting right out of high school, or have chosen to kind of carry the torch and carry it forward and getting ready to go to boot camp.
All my really close friends from this unit we're all National Guard, and I'd always said, when the time came, I'd do it. And so far, I'm liking it. I'm nervous a lot because there's a lot of stuff coming.
Just seeing the way of life, being able to serve my country, I realized I really need a part in that. I'm thinking about either going active after college or joining the Delaware State Troopers, being a police officer.
My son is part of the 261st reenactment unit, such as myself. He's 16, and he's already talking about joining the military. I think they feel a real sense of duty by learning what they have here, realizing what the men and women that were in the armed forces in World War II had to do to preserve our heritage.
Supporters of Fort Miles's restoration are hoping to put some of the base history and lessons of World War II on display in a Battery 519 museum.
What they want to tell is first and foremost the story of Fort Miles in World War II, but also as it fits in to the larger Battle of the Atlantic. We want to talk about the men that were here, their jobs, what this place was really supposed to do, what it did do. We hear about the convoys and our own warships out on the ocean, but we don't often hear about the men standing back behind them on this shoreline, walking that beach, watching. It wasn't just the guys that went across the oceans, but it was also mom and dad's war and sister and brother's war.
It's a story of our country being under siege, attacked, how we all respond as Americans. People say, well, I never fired its guns in anger, but you had to be ready. You build things, hopefully, that you never have to use. But if you have to use them, they're there, so you use them. God help you if you don't have them to use.
The greatest sense of homeland security is what you and I can do. Well, these men did that. They didn't just sit home. They said, I'm going to be a part of this. A lot of them joined because this is a way that I can be a part of the defense of my state, literally in this case.
They should remember the first thing, that we were never attacked. We let Hitler know that he would never come into the United States. I mean, it was serious business. There wasn't no play. We did what we had to do. And like I say, we were the best. At least I thought so. To be honest with you, I was proud of everything I did. It was just something that I know that I agreed to do when I signed up. If I had it to do over, I would do it. I wouldn't hesitate.
This time on The American Veteran, we'll profile volunteer drivers who are bringing veterans to medical centers that are sometimes hundreds of miles away from home.
Of all the things that I've done, this is probably the most rewarding.
And we will see a tribute honoring Veterans Day. Those stories and more coming up on The American Veteran. Welcome to The American Veteran, a public affairs program produced by the Department of Veterans Affairs. I'm Matt Webb, a veteran of the Marine Corps. I'm here at the Washington, D.C. VA Medical Center, located in the heart of our nation's capital. As various strains of seasonal influenza virus circulate each year, VA pulls out the stops to fight the flu and keep staff and veterans healthy. Let's take a look at what VA is doing to reduce the spread of flu within their facilities.
I'm just kidding you.
That wasn't the needle?
Yeah.
It was a very easy process. It was very, very quick. They were very attentive. The shot didn't hurt, and I feel better.
It's one of the privileges of being a veteran. You get the flu shot for free.
Every medical center in the VA system has a flu clinic where veterans can get the flu vaccine.
Hi, how are you? Good, how are you? I'm good. Nice to meet you.
I think the guidance now is that everyone really over the age of 6 months get the vaccine. So the VA and the CDC and many other healthcare systems make a real effort to get patients and employees to get the vaccine.
Oh, that was great.
It's prudent for everyone to get vaccinated against flu because no one is immune to it, because a virus changes every year. And so consequently, the vaccine is updated every year to provide the maximum protection against flu.
There are really no risk for the great majority of people with the flu vaccine. People who are allergic to eggs should not get the flu vaccine, and people who have had Guillain-Barré should not get the flu vaccine. Otherwise, there are very few reasons not to get the flu vaccine.
The flu shot does not give you the virus. It doesn't make you sick, and it promotes a healthy response in your body to fight the flu.
Oh, I think that the most important thing is to really have people get accurate information about the flu vaccine. There are many people who say, I don't want to get the vaccine because I got the flu, and you really cannot get the flu from the vaccine.
I have information about the flu shot that I gave you.
Okay.
And then this is the information. If you have any reaction for the next 15 minutes, we recommend you to sit down there.
In every hospital, there's a flu champion, and they deserve the credit. They're the ones on the front line providing the flu shots, talking to folks about it, dispelling myths about the vaccine. And that's very important because a lot of folks don't realize that the vaccine is our best protection against flu.
But I think we really strongly encourage healthcare workers to get the vaccine because it really does protect them. It protects their families. It protects the veterans. And also it really prevents the spread throughout the community.
The benefits are protecting yourself, your own health. And then it goes beyond that. You want to protect your family, your work colleagues. And so as a community, we always advocate flu vaccination because it saves lives and it helps keep us healthier. There are 4 major points that we stress for everyone. That's get your flu shot every year, clean your hands often, cover your coughs and sneezes, and stay at home when you're sick.
It didn't hurt, and I advise anybody that's maybe veteran or anybody to get their flu shot.
With respect to, all veterans getting flu shots and making sure that we're doing our part individually not to spread the flu contagion amongst our other fellow veterans is important. It's almost like an obligation.
With flu season fast approaching, make sure you get your flu shot at your local VA medical center.
These guys are great.
After the break, we'll see a day in the life of the Veterans Transportation Network. Ever since 1987, VA's Office of Voluntary Services has been partnering with veteran service organizations to provide transportation to rural veterans needing access to health care. Today, volunteer drivers and transport coordinators are at work all across the country, seeing to it that these veterans get where they need to, when they need to, in both safety and comfort.
Army veteran Randy Goldsworthy is dealing with a serious medical condition.
I was recently diagnosed with liver cancer, and they did a CT scan, and they found problems in every area of the scan. And so I have to go back up to Portland and get a body scan.
Radio 1190 and 102.3.
It's now 2:30 a.m., and after spending the night at the White City VA in Southern Oregon, Randy is setting out for the long journey to Portland. Alongside him are other patients also in need of treatment not available locally. Their driver, Chuck McGilvray, is one of hundreds of VA volunteers across the country working to help veterans access the care they need. As a 30-year veteran of the Navy, Chuck says he treasures the time he spends with his fellow vets.
We're all military or former military, so there's no uncomfortableness about meeting people.
They will travel throughout the night, motoring along Oregon's Interstate 5, making stops at Roseburg, Eugene, and finally, Portland.
They go over the Cascade Mountain Range, the Coastal Mountain Range, the Siskiyou Mountain Range. And when you consider the horrendous weather conditions that these drivers face every season of the year here in the state of Oregon, their indomitable spirit in what they do and what they give is just incredible.
A driver like Chuck may travel 50,000 miles a year, and perhaps as many as several 100,000 miles in the course of a volunteer career.
I find it very gratifying when the vets get out of the van and they say, appreciate the ride. Couldn't do it without you guys. We wouldn't get to our appointments.
There you go.
All right. Thank you.
At each stop, a new driver will take over for the next leg of the journey. Some patients will find the services they need here in Roseburg, but Randy will travel on, going the full distance of about 275 miles in a journey lasting nearly 7 hours. At about 4:30 a.m., the van resumes its journey northward, now under the helm of a new driver. Ahead in Portland, Wanda Janis is volunteering transportation logistics support as a commander assigned by disabled American veterans to work with VA staff coordinating services for inbound and outbound patients.
Veterans Transportation Service, this is Wanda. How can I help you?
They coordinate all the drivers. They work with voluntary service staff to ensure that all of the volunteer training requirements, physical exam requirements are handled. They ensure the daily travel logs. They ensure that the pre-ops and the maintenance on the vans are done, or work orders are done. So they essentially coordinate that piece of the pie in the volunteer program.
All righty, gentlemen. Many of them, they have no other way of getting here. And so it's very important, and I think that the relationship that we have with the voluntary services folks, not only in Oregon, but nationally, is a great benefit to our veterans.
Dawn has not yet broken as Randy onboards for a third time on his journey to Portland. The new driver is Marine Corps veteran Rick Nelson.
Of all the things that I've done, this is probably the most rewarding thing I've ever done. You know, you get up in the morning at 5 o'clock and it's cold and rainy outside and your back hurts and you think, oh, what am I doing this for? Then you get up here to Portland and you see some kid with no legs or missing an arm and a shoulder and you think, boy, life's been pretty good to me. I spent 16 months in Korea and never got a scratch. These guys are hurting.
It's just before 9 a.m. when they arrive in Portland. Journey's end brings relief and the hope that with any luck, these patients will now begin the road to recovery.
Randy made his appointment in Portland, stayed overnight, and was driven home again in the morning. All three of his drivers told us it was a pleasure to serve him. If you would like to become a part of the Volunteer Transportation Network, please contact your local VA to take advantage of this program. Our executive producer, Jeremy Wheeler, sat down with VA's Director of Volunteer Services to gather more information about the many ways you can serve our nation's veterans.
Why do people volunteer at VA?
I think they do it for a number of reasons. A lot of people want to give back. A lot of people were not able to serve, and this is their way of serving those who have served. There are a lot of people who were in the military, and they still want to feel connected.
So can you tell me a little more about the volunteer opportunities that are available across the system?
Yeah, we have multiple volunteer opportunities at VA, and I would encourage somebody who wants to volunteer to call their VA Voluntary Service office. But a lot of volunteers will drive patients to and from their appointments. Inside the hospital, they might escort them to and from their appointments. They may work in the labs, they may work in radiology, they may work in recreation, and they may do follow-up phone calls. So if somebody had an appointment, volunteer can call and check and make sure that everything is okay.
Why are the drivers so important for the Veterans Transportation Network?
Number one, to get the patients access to care as number one. But I can tell you a story that happened recently where a veteran got on the van. Driver noticed that he was slurring his speech a bit and kept him talking and realized he was slurring even more and more and more. And when all the patients were dropped off, he took him back to the VA for him to be evaluated. And sure enough, he needed to be admitted to the VA.
Volunteering for VA can sometimes lead to a career at VA.
They can. We have about 20,000 volunteers, student volunteers that are doing exactly that. They will come into VA to gain some experience so that they can decide what it is they want to do when they grow up.
How can those who are interested in volunteering at VA find out more?
I think the best way is for them to go online and look at www.volunteer.va.gov, identify where it is they want to volunteer their time, what city, what state, what VA, or they can call their VA Voluntary Service office and they would be able to help them out.
When we come back, we'll see a new program that brings the VA to college and university campuses across the nation. VA has a new outreach program at over 50 college campuses across the U.S. It's called the VITAL Initiative, or Veterans Integration to Academic Leadership. VITAL's goal is to ease the transition to college campuses by providing greater access to the VA healthcare, mental health care benefits program and services, and to ultimately make them more successful in school and in their future careers. Please watch to learn more.
What does it have to have? You go somewhere and you have an arrest warrant. What do you have to have on it?
Person's name.
Person's name. What else?
Areas that you can serve.
Danny Acree is an Iraq War veteran who is now studying criminal justice at the City College of San Francisco.
I hadn't been in school for almost a decade. So I thought it was going to be more of a challenge and difficult to kind of make friends, to relearn all of these, new languages and skills and things that, at a certain age you feel like, this might not be for me.
It's a feeling shared by tens, if not hundreds of thousands of student veterans who are now integrating into colleges and community colleges all across the United States.
It's been my experience that a lot of veterans go through the same experiences that I had when I returned. They basically come back, they get to campus, and they're kind of feeling lost.
Derek Blumke, an Air Force veteran of the war in Afghanistan, decided to address the issue by organizing a student veteran association at the University of Michigan, which later became a founding chapter of the Student Veterans of America, a success story that did not go unnoticed.
Derek spent 6 years in the Air Force, 3 deployments in the Afghan theater, putting his life at risk to keep this country safe. And when he returned, he started classes at his local community college in northern Michigan. Then he transferred to the University of Michigan. And while he was there, he co-founded Student Veterans of America to help returning veterans like himself. So congratulations, Derek.
Today, Derek works for VA as a program manager for the Veterans Integration to Academic Leadership Initiative, or VITAL. It establishes partnerships across the country between local VA medical centers and colleges in the surrounding area.
The programs that our VITAL offices provide basically are a touch point. Our programs are actually on the campus with the veterans, where when the vets walking past are walking towards their class and they're walking down the hall, they actually pass the office that our staff are situated in. And the VA and the VITAL initiative is partnering with these veterans on the campuses, is connecting them to everything and everybody to make sure that they're successful. And that's our mission, and that's our goal.
VA social worker Keith Armstrong runs the VITAL operation at the City College of San Francisco.
The VITAL program that we're a part of is, I think, really the cutting edge of where the VA can go. And again, it's taking what we have in terms of these excellent services, and instead of waiting for the veterans to come to us, going to the veterans and providing those services where they are. And that's really the core message of VITAL, is to take the services to the students.
VA's VITAL office at CCSF is located alongside the school's Student Veterans Lounge, a place where they can study, relax, or just come together as a community. And if they want to access VA services, they're right next door.
We provide an array of services, and very comprehensive services. We provide mental health services, including medication management on campus, as well as social work services on campus. And I think that those factors put together help us deliver really, really top-notch care for veterans.
To help spread the word around campus and the surrounding area, Keith and his team recently hosted a Student Veteran Day event, bringing together City College faculty and staff from local four-year universities, VA experts, and community representatives to discuss everything from college admissions and transfer to enrolling in VA and obtaining federal employment.
We tried to provide what we felt would be the key services, both from the VA perspective, from the community college perspective, and from the community perspective.
It's a recognition that increasingly the campus environment is home to a discrete community of veterans, young men and women with a world of experience that their fellow classmates can't match, but can benefit from.
It's amazing how many questions the younger civilian population have. Remember, some of these younger students were 6 years old when 9/11 happened. A lot of them don't really necessarily know what it was all about, what the war was about. And oftentimes the veteran can explain that better than any historian.
In the months to come, many of the student veterans here will move on to take their place in society. But before they go, they'll have acquired a better understanding of the world they'll face and the help that VA can lend them along the way.
The student veterans population has increased dramatically from 2007 to 2010 alone. The number jumped from 523,000 to more than 819,000. Many are first-generation college students. This story is our next installment in a series of veterans' employment success stories. Carlos DeBose is a veteran who found a second chance at VA's hiring fair in Detroit.
My name is Carlos R. DeBose Sr., retired First Sergeant in the United States Army. My current title is HR Specialist for Recruitment and Placement. After retiring out of the military in November of 2010 and serving with the 3rd Infantry Division, Fort Stewart, Georgia, I decided to come back here to Detroit, Michigan, where my kids were staying at. And immediately I felt the effects of not being in a leadership role. You know, my goal was to get out of the military. I prepared for it. I believe I prepared for it properly. But when you come into a state that has a 10.5% unemployment rate, it's very hard. My experience after retirement was one of a struggle. I spent 1 year and 3 months unemployed. I spent 8 months temporarily homeless. Retirement check, you know, coming from a basic salary down to a retirement check wasn't enough. I resorted to alcohol for a little while. You know, I had a anger issue. You know, I was putting blame on other folks for the position that I was in. And it's just like any veteran that's going through a transition. I didn't properly use my services that were provided for me until another veteran spoke to me and talked to me about programs that they have in the VA. These services are out here for us, and we should use every tool that they give us. Some of the things that I saw prior to entering the job fair down at the Detroit Cobo Hall was the preparation phase. They had where veterans could register prior to the major event of the job fair. And this allowed us to get registered. By registering, they had all kind of programs to help us become better candidates once the job fair kicked off. You know, they had like interview techniques. They have virtual coaches. They provided us with coaches to help improve our resumes. And that was awesome, you know, just to help veterans. They have places where veterans can go and receive training. If they needed more training on how to properly conduct a interview. That's just one of the many facets that they had. But you have to go through a process. You know, you have to get employment ready. This is what they called it at the end, about 2 or 3 days. You had to go to all these stations, your coaches. You had people that was rooting you on. It was like when you got that job and you came out and you said, hey, I got hired today. It was like a band of people, just like you just came up back from a tour over in Afghanistan or Iraq. They was cheering for you. And that's what made it so wonderful. And that's what I appreciated about the job fair, the Veterans Job Fair in Detroit. And that's where I met a young man named James Merrifield, who works out of Washington, D.C., and he was a part of the VA hiring initiative. I have an MBA in Business Administration, Human Resource Management. And the VA hospital here in Ann Arbor had about 3 positions open here. And he basically went out and found out who the sources were, who my contacts were, and before you know it, I was hired at the end of that day. Good morning, John. This is Carlos. I'm calling about the HR System Specialist position. My current title is HR Specialist for Recruitment and Placement.
I wanted to speak with you about one of your postings.
Okay. My role and responsibility is to ensure that we have the minimum qualifications for the candidates that are applying for the job announcement position.
I'm a veteran. Is this open for me to apply?
Absolutely.
All right.
I love this job. It's just I tell you, you know, being here in the VA hospital reminds me of being a company first sergeant.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Hey, it's nice meeting you.
Nice.
I just thank God for all the agencies that contribute to that Veterans Job Fair, because without them, I don't think I would have had that strategic advantage that I had, you know, that I had when I went to that actual job fair.
VA for Vets facilitates the reintegration, retention, and hiring of veteran employees at the Department of Veterans Affairs. For more information, please visit vaforvets.va.gov. Veterans Day is the official United States holiday honoring armed service veterans and is observed on November 11th. It coincides with other holidays such as Armistice Day or Remembrance Day, which are celebrated in other parts of the world and also mark the anniversary of the signing of the armistice that formally ended World War I at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918. Please enjoy this tribute produced by the Department of Veterans Affairs to honor our nation's veterans.
Veterans Day. It began as a way to recognize a truce, a ceasefire, a time to observe an end to war. On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918, Allied nations signed an armistice agreement with Germany to end World War I. Today, Veterans Day is a time to remember all those who served our nation in times of war and peace. They are the brave men and women who serve and protect us. They come from all walks of life. They are parents, children, and grandparents. They are friends, neighbors, and co-workers. They are presidents. They are the unknown, but not forgotten. On Veterans Day, we remember and honor our veterans. Let us always remember to celebrate the peace.
That concludes this edition of The American Veteran. The Department of Veterans Affairs is honored to bring you this program. To our men and women in uniform and to America's veterans, thank you for your service. See you next time.
We've got an arm and core crusher workout for you that is going to burn you out like you never have before. 4 exercises, 20 repetitions each, 3 full sets in a short period of time, extreme conditioning style. That means little or no break in between each set. You all ready to get started? Good. All right, so let's line up for the tricep dip. Now, we're going to use a bench to help ourselves. We're going to keep our legs bent at the knees so that we can brace our fall if we do slip. We're going to do a 20 count. Ready? Begin. Now notice, what I wanted out of this position is I wanted them so that their hips were close to the bench so that their back was perpendicular to the ground. I wanted that way so that we can maintain neutral spine and isolate on the triceps. Their legs are bent simply to brace their fall in case they slip. Don't do it with straight legs. This is a safety protocol. 3, 2, 1. Good. On your feet. Let's grab those dumbbells and line ourselves up for some squats. 20 counts. Slowly at first and then build as you go. Ready? Begin. Now, the only reason we're holding the dumbbells is to add to the load. You still want to maintain proper form. You want to stick that tailbone back behind you as you go down and sink your shoulders into your back pockets or where your back pockets would be. That's the way to maintain a neutral spine. Exhale on the way up, breathe in on the way down. In through your nose and out through your mouth. 3, 2, and 1. All right, let's put the dumbbells back in a safe spot. You always want to put the dumbbells in a safe spot. You still don't trip over them. Let's get down on our backsides to get that core crusher phase going on here. Heads down, relax. Okay, now hands at your sides. Bring the legs up where they lined up over the hips, slight bend in the knees. We're only going to raise the bottom part of our body up about 4 inches on each repetition. 20 reps, go. Good. Now you see this here, what Kelvin's doing here? He's just raising up, focusing on the bottom part of his abdominal wall and just making certain that he's not jerking his body around. This is the perfect way of doing this exercise and working on the core, the whole core. Good job, you two. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now just flip over on your bellies. Same position, heads to the center. And let's work our lower backs now, because some people forget this, but the lower back is also part about the core. Fingers clasped and behind your head. Relax the legs and back extension time. 20 count. Ready? Go. Now notice right away that I see a cadence that's fast because it's slightly intense, but it's not so fast that they're compromising their form in any way. This is a perfect way of doing the exercise safely and effectively. They're doing a great job. They're breathing deeply. They're exhaling on the way back and breathing in on the way down. In through their noses and out through their mouths. 5 more. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Push off with your hands to a standing position. Round 2. Let's get right to it. Let's go to those tricep dips. We call them bench dips because we're using the bench for support. Remember, we're going to stay close to the edge so we can maintain neutral spine. Ready? Begin. Look at that isolation technique going on here with Lynn and with Kelvin. Perfect. All I see is the tricep engage and not any unwarranted strain in the shoulder joint because of the position that they're in. Legs are bent just to brace their fall in case they do slip. They're doing it right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Come on up. Grab those dumbbells. Let's add to the load for our squats. Body squats are so great. Now, if you have to use no weight at all, fine. You figure out what's best for you. 20 count, begin. And a reason why we call it extreme conditioning is because we're taking little or no break in between each set. You know your body better than anyone else. If you need to make a longer break, that's fine. Modify what you have to and amplify what you can. But don't amplify so much that you compromise your form. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put the dumbbells back in a safe spot, and it's time for that core crusher phase. On your back sides, heads to the center. And again, we're going to look for that vertical leg crunch again. All right, legs up, line them up over your hips, slight bend in your knees, and 20 count, go. Good. So all I'm doing here as a spotter is I'm making certain that her legs don't rock too far forward toward her head. And make certain that what we have is her legs lining up where the feet are lined up right over the hips and they're not going too far toward her jaw. Perfect. This is the way to do it right. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Flip over on your bellies. Remember, the lower back is also part of the core. That's the way to do it right. Fingers clasped and behind your head. Relax the legs. Back extensions. Ready? Go. Look at you two. Awesome job. Breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. Relax those legs, Lynn. Good job. That's a great correction. They're doing a great job. Little or no break in between each set. That's extreme conditioning. Good job. Now 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Push yourself off your hands. The final round. Yeah. On the bench, focus on our triceps. Ready? Go. Good job, you two. This is awesome. They're doing a great job. They're maintaining proper form. I hear their breathing picking up right away as soon as they begin. They're pushing the air out of their body on the way up and breathing in on the way down. 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Carefully on your feet. Grab the dumbbells. Body squats with the dumbbells, adding to the load. The last 20 count. Are you ready? Begin. Good. Right away, we've got an example of perfect form out of both of them. The tailbones are just going right back behind them every time they go down, sinking their shoulders into their back pockets. That's the way to do it right. Neutral spine. Knees lining up over midfoot, but all the weight and balance into their heels. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Put the dumbbells back in a safe spot. Last 2 exercises on your back sides. Heads to the center. Let's do that last set. Move back up over here a little bit more, big guy. Good. All right, legs up. And begin. Good. And again, what I'm simply doing is making certain those legs don't go too far over that hip position. You're doing a great job, you two. You started strong, finished strong. Good job. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Flip over on your bellies. Back extension time. Back extension time. Start strong, finish strong. You got this. Relax the legs. Relax the legs. Are you ready? Look at this. Awesome. We're not arching back so fast that we're putting any unwarranted strain in the lower back. And remember, that lower back is part of the core. Lynn and Kelvin are doing a great job. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Push off with your hands to a standing position. How do you feel? Good. How do you feel? Awesome. And that's all it takes to get that body that you've always dreamed of in a short period of time. That's extreme conditioning. Stay the course. Today's exercises are going to focus on the pectorals, the chest, and the triceps. We're going to do the push-up. We're going to do the dumbbell bench press and the dumbbell chest fly. All right, so Mo and Eric are first going to line up in the push-up position. When they get in the plank, they're going to form where their back and legs are going to form a straight line. And so when I say ready, they'll be in that position. And when I say begin, they're going to start knocking out 20 repetitions of the push-up. All right, ready? And begin. Now notice, look at that. All you got to do is tighten up your butt and your gut, and your back is going to form a straight line with your legs. This is awesome. They're going to exhale on the way up and breathe in on the way down. In through the nose and out through their mouth. Now, as you're doing 20 repetitions, if you can't finish all 20, at least go to muscle failure. Do the best you can. They're almost there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, come off the ground, guys. We're going to grab our dumbbells, and we're going to go right into the next exercise, the dumbbell bench press. Lay down comfortably. We're going to start with the up position. Let's get them up, and we're going to have it good. Their arms are ready. Now, 20 repetitions. Ready? Go. Now, when you're doing this exercise, what you want to do is make certain that you're not doing any jerking movement. You're exhaling on the way up and breathing in on the way down. And if you got some sort of heavy weight and you've got someone to spot you, make certain that they're just here to make certain you don't go too far back. Don't have anyone push you inward with your arm position, but only assisting you a little bit on the way up. That's extreme conditioning when you have little or no break in between each exercise. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're still in this position, guys. Turn, rotate the there you go. Awesome. Now we're in a hammer grip. So now we're going to do the chest fly. 20 repetitions. Ready? Go. You guys are doing great. Your pectorals should be already burning by now. Even if it's a lightweight. If you do the lightweight right, boy, you know you're going to feel it. Good. 20 repetitions, but do the best you can. If you start to compromise your form, then you've got a weight that's too heavy. These big guys, they're doing 15s right now, but it's still going to have an effect on them. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Carefully sit up. Let's put those dumbbells back out of the way so that they're in a safe spot. Shake off your hands. You guys ready for another round? Because we're doing 3 full sets of this. I know you can do it. Let's get those pectorals and those triceps. Push-up position. Move. Now I'll give you the command of ready, and that's when you can be in that ready position. We'll make certain that we have our back and legs forming a straight line. Ready? Begin. Remember, only go as fast as you can maintain proper form. You guys are doing great. Back and legs forming a straight line. Exhale on the way up. Breathe in on the way down. In through your nose, out through your mouth. And remember, if you can't finish your 20 reps, just go to muscle failure. Do the best you can. That's what extreme conditioning is all about. Going to that edge and just pushing it just a little bit farther. But as long as it's safe and effective. 3, 2, 1. Come on up, guys. Time to grab the dumbbells again. Our pectorals and our triceps are going to get it today. Awesome job. On your backs, supine against the bench. Dumbbells up. Bench presses first. Ready? Begin. 20 repetitions. That's what we're going for. And again, we want to make certain that here in Eric's case, and for Mo over there, that we don't have any unwarranted strain on those shoulder joints by going too far low. I like to say 90 degrees at the elbows is always best for me. Exhale on the way up, breathe in on the way down. They're almost there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Okay, guys, let's bring them up and let's change grips on our hands. Perfect. Chest fly. Round 2. Begin. Good job. Maintain proper form. Let's see how Mo's doing over here. Good job, Mo. Breathe deeply. In through your nose, out through your mouth. These guys are doing great. Working our pectorals and our chests, our triceps and the back of our arms. Almost there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Carefully sit up. Awesome. Let's put the dumbbells in a safe spot. Safety first. The body will always be able to figure it out as we go, but safety is a big key. You guys ready for one more round? This quick fix is going to get you. All right. Push-up position. When I say ready, be in it. Last set. Ready? Begin. Hands. After all these sets, these guys are still maintaining great form. Look at that. Back and legs forming a straight line. Squeeze your butt and gut. That way you don't sag or arch. Do the best you can. Go to muscle fatigue or muscle failure, whichever comes first. Almost there. Almost there. Try and hit that 20. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job, guys. Back to the bench. Grab the dumbbells. Last set of the dumbbell chest press. Let's do it. On your backside, supine. Dumbbells up first. Get in that good start position. Good. All right. 20 reps. Ready? Begin. Every time they push those dumbbells away, they exhale on the way up and breathe in on the way down. In through their noses and out through their mouths. 20 repetitions if you can. And even with 15 pounds, they're finding a struggle in this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The final exercise, guys. Switch that hand grip. All right. The chest fly. Ready? Begin. Good job, Eric. That's it. Let's see how Mo's doing over here. Good. Maintain proper form. Look at these big guys. These 15-pounders are still getting you, but you're doing great with your form. Keep it up. Keep it up. Halfway there. Exhale on the way up. Breathe in on the way down. Don't quit. You got it. You got it. Awesome. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Carefully sit up. Put the dumbbells in a safe place. Shake off the hands. How do you feel? Yeah, and that's all it takes. I mean, just a few exercises done full 3 sets in less than 10 minutes, and you've got your pectorals and your triceps in the best condition ever. That's extreme conditioning, and that's how we do it right. Stay the course. Boy, for today's workout, it's going to incorporate every single muscle in our body. And we're going to do it in a short period of time. We're going to climb down the ladder together with sets of 25, declining 5 repetitions each. We're going to start with a seated dip, back extension, and then we're going to do the mountain climber, starting with 25, 20, and so forth. It's metabolic conditioning at its best, extreme conditioning style. That means little or no break in between each set. You guys ready? Let's get started with this. All right, seated dip. Use this bench to help us isolate on the triceps, bend in the knees. From here on out, we're going to take little break. Begin. Now notice what we're doing here is we're trying to keep the back perpendicular to the ground. So that rear end gets really close to the edge of the bench. We've got our knees bent so that we can make certain that if we slip off, we've got something to brace our falls. Don't go straight leg because you're also going to create too much strain on the shoulders as well. You guys count to 25. Breathe deeply. When you're finished with your 25, just be in the ready. Looking good. Breathe deeply. I always like to exhale when I go up and breathe in when I down. So the problem is that some people will pant when they do this. You don't want to pant. You want to breathe deeply and naturally. Good stuff. Good stuff. Ready? All right. Let's get to the next exercise. Go right to the mats. Back extension time. Back extension. Put your fingers behind your head and neck and clasped. Ready? 25 count. Begin. Good. There you go. Notice Colin over here. He's not going so fast that he's trying to jerk his body backwards. We want to make certain we isolate on the lower back muscles. Don't raise the legs at all because that's really contraindicated. Exhale on the way back. Breathe in on the way down. In through your nose, out through your mouth. See how Don is doing over here. Good. Perfect, Don. That's the right cadence. When you guys finish with your 25, just be in the ready. Good. Good. If you jerk around while going backwards, you're going too fast. Good stuff, people. Keep breathing deeply. Keep breathing deeply. Don't quit. Don't quit. This is going to be the whole body is going to get engaged today. Even though we're going to climb down the ladder together in repetitions, it's going to feel like we're doing the same amount just because our body will be fatiguing. Good. All right. On your feet. Push back. Mountain climber time. Stay right there. Count the left leg because we're going for a 25 count. Ready? Begin. Look at that. Look at that. Now our heart rate's going to pick up. We still are applying pressure to the upper body to stabilize our body in this position. But now we're moving fast, but we're not jerking around. So find that cadence that works for you. Looking good. Looking good. Looking good, you two. Awesome job. Awesome job. Whole body. Whole body. We're working the whole body. All right. On your feet. Ready for round 2? 20 reps. On the bench. Triceps. Keep the knees bent. Good. Begin. 20 reps. Count for yourselves and go right to your breathing technique. That means when you push up, exhale. Let the body have the food and blood in the form of oxygen that it needs to perform this exercise right. Good work. Good work. Good work. Keep counting. Keep counting. Keep breathing deeply. They're doing a great job. Look at the triceps work here. They're being isolated. They're being just pushed to the point of exhaustion. That's what you want. A whole body workout in a short period of time. Looking good, looking good. Remember, extreme conditioning is little or no break in between each set. That's what we want to try and do. All right, you guys ready for the next one? All right, back extension. You know, most people, when they're working their core, they forget to use the lower back. Begin. Good, good. Again, look at Colin's cadence right here. He's pulling back just enough that he's not rocking his body. That's what you want to do. If you're jerking backwards, you're going too fast. Great job. Keep counting, guys. Let's see how Don's doing over here. Good work, good work. Keep breathing. Exhale on the way back and breathe in on the way down. Get that 20 count and just be in the ready when you're done. How you guys doing? Hard to talk when you're in this position. You're doing a great job. Good. All right. Almost there. Good. All right. Mountain climber time. Push back. Let's pick up the heart rate again. Count the left leg. 20 count. Ready? Begin. Good. Let's see how Colin's doing over here with mountain climber. Good position. Look at those feet switch. Knees coming in, tucked hard, working your gut muscles. People don't realize that. You're working your hips and your gut as well on this exercise. Good. On your feet. Ready for a 15 count? All right. Let's go to the bench. If you need to modify, that means making a longer break in between each sets. No modification here. We're going for it. Begin. Look at their form. No compromise in the form. If you do something unsafe, you might hurt yourself. So what we want to do is always think safety first. That means proper form. Breathe deeply, guys. Exhale on the way up. Breathe in on the way down. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Looking good, guys. Do that 15 count and just be in the ready. How you doing, buddy? Good, good. All right. Looking good. Looking good. Awesome. All right. Go right to the bench. Right down on the pads. Fingers clasped. Ready to work that lower back. No jerking motion. 15 count. Begin. Tell you what, guys, you're making it easy for me. The way you're doing this with little no break in between each set and your form, it's an easy way to explain how to do this right. Extreme conditioning. Extreme conditioning. Don't say you don't have time, because the whole key is fit it in a short period of time. What you would normally do in a 40-minute workout, you can do in around 10 minutes. Good job, guys. Almost there. Push hard, push hard, push hard, push hard. Good. All right, let's push back for the mountain climber. Ready position. Left leg will come up first. And begin. Good, good. Heart rate's going to pick up again. That's the key. You want to make certain that you maintain right form. Notice we're kicking those knees up into our chest, and we're using our gut muscles. On your feet. 10 count next. 10 count next. Counting down. Go to the bench. Let's work our triceps. We're reducing the amount of repetitions, but the intensity is still the same. All right. Begin. Count to 10, guys. Count to 10. Count to 10. Exhale on the way up. Breathe in on the way down. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Look at the triceps. They're just getting cooked right now. That's awesome. Little to no break in between each set. That's extreme conditioning. Going from one area to the body to the other, metabolic conditioning. Awesome. Okay, come on off. On your front. Back extension time, 10 count. Get in the ready. Fingers clasped. No jerking motion. 10 count. Begin. Good job, Colin. Good job. Let's see how Don is doing over here. Good job. Good job. Good job. Look at that extension. Awesome job, people. Awesome job. This is the way it should look. Keep breathing. Exhale on the way back and breathe in on the way down. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Go for that 10 count. Good. Push up, push back, push back. Let's go to that mountain climber. Pick up the heart rate again, starting with left leg. Begin. Again, if you need to modify, then you simply just increase the amount of transition period that you have. That means longer in between, longer breaks. But if you need to amplify, that means no break at all. On your feet. Ready to go and try one more set? Let's go to the bench. All right. Begin. Look at that. Back's perpendicular to the ground. Knees are bent in case they need to slip off. They have something to brace the fall. This is the way it should look each time. Exhale on the way up. Breathe in on the way down. In through your nose, out through your mouth. All right. Off. Get down on our fronts. Back extension. Last set. Get in the ready. Fingers clasped and behind your head. No jerking. 5 count. Begin. Good. Good. Remember, the lower back is also part of the core training that you need to do every single day. This is a great example of how to do it right. Good, good, good. Push back for the mountain climber. Last set. Pick up the heart rate. We're going to end with our heart bouncing hard. Okay. Begin. Climb down the ladder together, folks. You're making a short workout what would be intense enough for a big workout. On your feet. How do you feel? Good, good. Not impossible, achievable, but right outside the comfort zone. And that's extreme conditioning at its best. Make certain you try this. If you wanted to make it 35 and then count down from that by 5 counts to 30, 25 and down, then you're just making the workout longer. Do the best you can and stay the course.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Inside the Naval Postgraduate School. From our campus in Monterey, California, I'm your host, Alan Richmond, right here on the Pentagon Channel. Welcome to the show. Well, on this episode, we'll cover all the activities that took place at the 31st Annual Fleet Week celebration up in San Francisco, California. And of course, NPS was there. We were on hand to participate and film many of the activities during the celebration. Here's the executive director of Fleet Week, Louis Leuven, to give us an overview of all the activities. Louis, what a big event you have in store for us this year.
Thank you, Alan, and thank you for coming out here with the Naval Postgraduate School. They're wonderful partners in the program here. This year, we're doing, as we did for the last 2 years, emphasizing humanitarian assistance and disaster response missions of the military. And we've really formed an incredible bond between the military and the civilian emergency response community in the Bay Area. The lead agency that we work with for planning exercises is San Francisco Department of Emergency Management, and they've reached out to all the branches of the military, federal, state, and local partners throughout the region to create just a fabulous program to help us all work together to better respond to disasters.
Now, over 1 million people come to this event. That's quite an impact on the city of San Francisco and a great gathering for the military, isn't it?
Oh, it really is. And San Francisco opens the doors up for the military. They go into the restaurants and the bars. I ran into a handful of sailors last night. I started talking to them, and they were just absolutely thrilled with the fact that they had all gone into a restaurant, sat down, and ordered a wonderful meal. They were prepared to pay for the check, and the restaurant owner came over and said, "I'm sorry, but somebody's already taken care of this meal for you." So they were very happy to be in San Francisco. I think San Francisco is a wonderful liberty call.
We also had the opportunity to speak with San Francisco Mayor Ed Lee and find out his thoughts on Fleet Week.
I'm very lucky to be the mayor of San Francisco. We are so appreciative of our Fleet Week. Obviously, to give a very strong nod a whole week to our men and women in uniform, to our leaders in the military, from the Navy to the Coast Guard to the Marines. But we're also doing something in addition to that that's very special to our city. We're really practicing what it takes to get ready for a major disaster and experiencing the on-the-ground movement and logistics expertise of our military to help us in time of need.
Well, the city of San Francisco has certainly thrown out the welcome mat, so thank you very much.
Thank you, and let's celebrate that, but let's also make sure we're also paying attention to what we have to be prepared for, and this is why we're right down to our neighborhoods, very thankful to our military.
Well, special thanks to San Francisco Mayor Ed Lee for taking time to talk with us. Well, one of the other important activities associated with Fleet Week celebration is the Senior Leadership Seminar. The Senior Leadership Seminar provides a platform for senior leaders from the U.S. military, state, local, and federal emergency response agencies, and community leaders to continue to develop working relationships and encourage cooperative emergency planning. As a follow-up to the 2011 SLS, in August, approximately 24 civilian and military organizations participated in a cooperative functional exercise to evaluate tactical emergency route opening activities 72 hours post-disaster, and a drill that tested interoperable communication coordination and interagency information exchange. An exercise briefback was conducted aboard the USS Macon Island, who hosted the seminar this year. One of the important topics discussed at the SLS was cybersecurity, and NPS professor Cynthia Irvine was there to moderate the panel. Well, cyber and protection of the network, everybody is concerned about that. That's not just the military, but it's every single U.S. citizen and people all over the world, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Well, and particularly here in the United States, because we're ahead of a lot of countries in cyber, and so we're more dependent upon it by being a more advanced country.
Now, everybody has devices now. I mean, we live in a world that you can't get people to talk almost anymore. They're at the table, they're texting, they're doing all these things. Do you think that people put too much information out there? I'm not talking just about military now, but don't people divulge an awful lot, leave themselves vulnerable to people hacking them and that kind of thing?
It's very easy to put out too much information. You can, just by making a phone call, reveal information. A lot of 800 numbers, they record the calling number, for example. And there are automated ways of doing this. In the past, we didn't have the capability of collecting and storing as much information as there is now. And so people are often doing the same sort of things that they might have done 10 or 15 years ago, but the collectors, and this may be corporate collectors, not necessarily government ones, are able to amass large databases so that they can determine what you might want to buy next. And this information may not be what you really want other people to know.
Now, we can't go into great detail about what you and your colleagues will be talking about today on cyber, but it does play into the theme of Fleet Week, which is disaster control around the world and how that technology plays into it. Is that part of what you're looking at?
Well, the military depends a lot on communications, and the cyber communications is a large part of that. Our communications around the world require us to have ship-to-ship communications, ship-to-shore, ship-to-satellite, back to the United States types of communications. And so in the context of a disaster, you need to keep those communications up and going.
Well, we'd certainly like to thank everyone who participated in the Senior Leadership Seminar during Fleet Week. We'll be back with more Fleet Week activities right after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to Inside NPS in San Francisco, California. Well, time now to board the USS Macon Island. While aboard the USS Macon Island, we had the privilege to meet and speak with the commanding officer, Captain Cedric Pringle, a native of Sumter, South Carolina. He graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in economics and received his commission via the NROTC from the University of South Carolina in 1986. He earned his master's degree in systems management and national security strategy from the Naval Postgraduate School and the Naval War College, respectively. Captain Pringle reported to the USS Macon Island as the executive officer in August of 2010 and took command as the ship's third commanding officer in February of 2012. We had the opportunity to tour the ship and participate in the Senior Leadership Seminar. Here's Captain Cedric Pringle.
Well, Macon Island is the eighth ship of the Wasp-class LHDs. We're an amphibious assault ship. So we bring a lot of helo capabilities and vertical lift capability to the fight, as well as the possibility of using the well deck for LCACs and LCUs. That capability certainly works well in an HADR type mission where we have to provide humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. The thing that's different about Macon Island than the other sister ships in our class is that we have an electric propulsion drive system. A hybrid system actually allows us to save quite a bit of fuel. On our most recent deployment of 7 months, we were able to save $15 million of fuel over the course of that 7-month period just by using our electric drive at slower speeds. The other interesting thing about our ship is that we've got just a phenomenal, very talented crew who all just strive forward with the culture of excellence in mind.
Talk a little bit about the type of aircraft that come aboard and the capabilities of takeoffs and landings.
Well, the LHD has the opportunity to operate with just about any type of aircraft in the Navy's afloat aircraft inventory. We have MV-22s on board here for San Francisco Fleet Week. We also have Cobras. We also have 53s on board in the SX-60. But we also have the opportunity to operate with Harriers should we see a need to do that as well. So very, very flexible air-capable platform.
Well, one of the big bottom lines of Fleet Week, of course, is disaster preparedness around the world and how the military fits into that big picture. And you have quite a medical facility. We had an opportunity to tour. Talk a little bit about that.
The medical facility on board the LHD class ships is probably the best medical facility afloat, right behind the USNS Mercy and Comfort, which are designed as hospital ships. Our capability certainly starts with the flight deck and being able to receive casualties back on board, our personnel that we need to assist, bring them back on board on the flight deck, bring them through flight deck triage, process them down to our medical capabilities. We have 6 operating rooms on board should we need to do that. Then we have another 15 rooms in our 15 beds in our ICU, intensive care room, and then another 40 beds or so in our primary ward. And we have an overflow capability of about 250 additional beds. So very, very robust medical capability.
We're proud to say that you're a Naval Postgraduate School alum.
Absolutely. And even in 2010, when we came up, had an opportunity to do an interview, the true irony of being a Naval Postgraduate School alum and being on the ship is that on my thesis, I actually worked on a smart gator concept. And part of that thesis talked about the machinery control system. That machinery control system is now used on board this ship. So although it's quite a few years removed, it's great to see the body of work that I did at the Naval Postgraduate School actually come to life in the shape of a ship here on board. So for any students that are toiling through the rigors of academia there at Naval Postgraduate School, my advice to them would be stick with it. It is certainly worth it, and nothing's better than being immersed in an academic environment and putting all your time and effort into doing something worthy that could help influence the Navy in the future. So it is definitely worth it, and certainly proud to be a part of the Naval Postgraduate School Alumni Association.
Well, sir, congratulations, and thank you for your service, and thanks for hosting us aboard the Macon Island.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Well, we offer our sincerest thanks to Captain Pringle and the fine crew of the USS Macon Island for their courtesy during our stay. One of the other participants is very well known. Here's George Shultz, former Secretary of State. George Shultz is an economist and Republican presidential advisor, best known as the Secretary of State, who was sworn in on July 16, 1982, as the 60th U.S. Secretary of State and served until January 1989 under President Ronald Reagan. He graduated from Princeton in 1942 with an economics degree and served in combat operations in the Pacific as a United States Marine during World War II. Leaving the Corps as a major, he earned a PhD in industrial economics from MIT. He taught there and was a professor and dean at the University of Chicago from 1962 to 1968, and then a fellow at Stanford University's Center for Advanced Study in the Behavioral Sciences before serving as Secretary of Labor, Director of the Office of Management and Budget, and Secretary of the Treasury under President Nixon. He returned to the private sector in 1974 and became president of the Bechtel Group, a San Francisco-based engineering and construction firm. He left his post there to replace Alexander Haig as Secretary of State in 1982. He served for the remainder of President Reagan's term and is credited with being the architect of the national security strategy that ended the Cold War. In January 1989, he rejoined Stanford University as the Jack Steele Parker Professor of International Economics at the Graduate School of Business and as a distinguished fellow at the Hoover Institution. We had the honor of speaking with him at the Senior Leadership Seminar aboard the USS Macon Island. Now, you've been, sir, in government service for many, many years, most of your life. What's your overview of today's U.S. military?
Well, our military is extraordinary. It's not just that they're the best in the world, they're just top notch in every respect. And you know it immediately when you start talking to the people in the military. They're terrific people. And they're dedicated and professional. And you look around this ship at the equipment here, what they can do. So they've got the tools, we've got the people. That's all.
You are now at the Hoover Institute at Stanford. What kind of work are you doing these days?
Well, I work on the economy, ideas about the economy, and we write stuff about that. I work along with former Secretary of Defense Bill Perry, who's there, and Sam Nunn, who's a visiting fellow at the Hoover Institution, and Henry Kissinger, who will be a visiting fellow at the Hoover Institution. We work on how can we make the world safer in terms of nuclear weapons, eventually getting rid of them, the step-by-step process that we need to go through. I work on the subject of energy. I worry about problems of governance. I worry about how we make our diplomacy more effective. So I've got my hands full.
That's a big menu. I know that you'll be coming down to the Naval Postgraduate School in Monterey after the first of the year, and we're looking forward to your visit. And we're going to be having a discussion on energy. Can you give me a little preview about the kind of work and what that message will be to the Naval Postgraduate School?
Well, the Naval Postgraduate School has, among other things, a major program on the subject of energy. And we have a program as well. So we look forward to a fruitful collaboration between the two of us so both can benefit and learn. My own perspective on energy right now is that in the United States, We have a gigantic opportunity to change the energy picture drastically if we take advantage of our opportunities. And it's always a question. We have, more than any other time before, a very large scientific and engineering base of people in universities around the country. I know about Stanford and I know about MIT because I'm involved in both of those, where they're doing a lot of work on how you get better energy out of the sun, out of wind, how you convert cellulosic materials into energy, how you use different means of propulsion, how you work to see ways where you can use less energy to get the same job done, and so on. And these are long-run efforts that will pay off so that we can meet the three big things we have to do in energy. We have to think about our national security. Among other things, that means learning how to produce energy where you use it, so you don't have a big supply line. We have to think about our economy, which uses energy, vitally important. And we have to think about our environment, the air you breathe, the climate that we're creating, and doing something about it. So we're on the cusp of being able to do something about all of those things.
Well, we appreciate your fine work and your service to our country, sir, and around the globe. We look forward to seeing you at the Naval Postgraduate School.
Look forward to being there. Thank you.
Sir. Special thanks to Mr. Schultz for taking time to speak with us during the SLS, and we look forward to having him visit the Naval Postgraduate School just after the first of the year. Well, time now to board another ship. Here we are at the USS Spruance. Well, while at Fleet Week, we were privileged to meet Commander George Kessler, Jr., commanding officer of the USS Spruance. He's a native of Albany, Missouri. He entered the United States Naval Academy in 1991, graduated with a Bachelor's of Science degree, and was commissioned as an ensign in 1995. Commander Kessler holds a Master of Arts in National Security Affairs from the Naval Postgraduate School in Monterey. Here's Captain George Kessler.
USS Spruance was commissioned on October 1st of 2011. We're the newest Arleigh Burke class destroyer on the waterfront. We actually will maintain that distinction for about 6 more days when DDG 111 is replaced by 112 as the newest destroyer. We were commissioned in Key West, Florida. We are a Flight 2 Alpha variant of the Arleigh Burke destroyer, which means that we're able to carry helicopters on board. We have actual helo hangars. We're a multi-mission destroyer, which means we can deal with anti-air threats, we can deal with surface threats, we can deal with subsurface threats, and we can operate in maritime interdiction operations. Fleet Week is so special in that we get an opportunity to share with the American public what their tax dollars have gone for. It gives us an opportunity to expose members of the United States that may not know or have a heritage with the Navy to what we do, what our sailors do, to help them recognize what their tax dollars have paid for, help them understand what missions we employ. The San Francisco Fleet Week has actually established a huge humanitarian assistance disaster relief component to its makeup. And so it's actually really neat in which the local agencies here in San Francisco and the greater Bay Area can actually work with the government and specifically the United States Navy and the United States Marine Corps and actually see what we bring to that mission and how we can help them accomplish what they need to do if a disaster did strike. So our crew is 282 people. It's roughly around 34 officers right now and 248 sailors. We have 19 countries represented. We have every state in the union represented. We're right now about 20% women on board and come from all over and been together for about 2 years now through the pre-commissioning process and now into our first year of commission. I had a wonderful time at the Naval Postgraduate School. I actually went there for a National Security Affairs degree. My focus was on Central and Eastern Europe, and my thesis was on the Ukrainian Navy. But also I enjoyed the time just getting to know other shipmates, other officers, both from the United States Navy, but also from National Guard, the Army, the Air Force, and from foreign countries and ministries of defense. I also had the rare privilege of meeting my wife in Monterey. She was working at Pebble Beach. So for me, Monterey has a special place in my heart, has a special place in my family. I have 2 other siblings who have also received degrees from NPS. So love it there, would gladly go back in a heartbeat.
We also had the pleasure of participating in the parade of ships, being aboard the USS Spruance, as well as many other ships that passed beneath the Golden Gate and the Bay Bridges in San Francisco. In fact, here's a list of some of the other ships that participated. Well, stay with us. More to come from Fleet Week in San Francisco as we turn our attention to the Marina Green and the cruiser team from NPS, right here on the Pentagon Channel. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Inside NPS. During Fleet Week, there was also a peer-to-peer medical exchange, which included a battlefield emergency medicine conference. We also viewed the landing of a landing craft air cushion, or LCAC. That was on Ocean Beach in San Francisco. We participated in a helicopter lift and saw a demonstration of static military medical capabilities. 2 days were focused on tours of the shock trauma platoon on the Marina Green to continue dialogue between civilian and military medical professionals. The public had the opportunity to see the new technology, including the team from NPS showcasing our Consortium for Robotics and Unmanned Systems Education and Research, or CRUISER.
CRUISER is a Secretary of the Navy initiative to align disparate efforts in unmanned systems technology. Unmanned systems and technology is changing so quickly and growing, and there are so many different efforts at so many different, not only DoD commands, but in industry and academia that could benefit from aligning and sharing resources, sharing information. And CRUISER, our primary mission is to develop that community of interests. At Fleet Week here, we have talked to a wide variety of people. A lot of people just coming to ask, what is Naval Postgraduate School? What do we do? So it's provided us the opportunity to really share what goes on at Naval Postgraduate School, who we serve, and we've had a lot of young sailors come and ask us, here's where I am in my career, how do I get to where you are? What do you suggest my next steps are? So it's been really great to have some students here to help them navigate where they are and how to get to Naval Postgraduate School.
It's Commander Jeff Hink. I'm currently on faculty at NPS. I'm a prior student. I graduated in 2007 from the Ops Research School. Liked my time, enjoyed the curriculum there, and tried to line myself up for a staff job, and it worked out. And I just returned to NPS last month as a military faculty. This is Fleet Week here, so this is the Navy's chance to talk to or engage with the public on the activities within the armed services, let them know about opportunities such as the postgraduate school for folks who are already in the service, tell them about the benefit of those degrees and what those degrees bring to the Department of Defense and to the nation for keeping our officer corps educated and engaged in current topics and research areas. We talk with a lot of younger folks who are they're here to take a look at the Navy demonstrator next door here, but they also come over and take a look at some of the remote control planes and gliders that we have. They're fascinated by those. They're asking a lot of interesting questions about how they work, what we use those for. We explained to them that many of those are affiliated with the CRUISER project, which is involved in researching unmanned systems, and it's an engagement opportunity for us to tell them about those opportunities for research and education. Talk about how unmanned systems are being researched within the armed services for possible missions and employment overseas. And the vehicles that we have here to talk about are used for basic level research. We have PhD faculty and military students using them to explore different concepts of operations and different ways of using them to achieve military objectives. So that's pretty interesting. And of course, the kids just like to come up and tweak the fins on the planes and take a look at the propeller and talk about how it works and how it communicates with either a phone or a computer and what kind of interesting things you can do with them. I did spend 2 years here in a graduate program several years ago. It was a challenging program. I went through the operations research curriculum, which is a lot of computer simulation, data analysis, those type of things, which really advanced my education personally, and it allowed me to be a more effective officer in some follow-on jobs and perform some analysis work for the Navy. So the education was great. I enjoyed my time. It was quite challenging.
And last but not least, of course, is the air show. The ever-popular air show, featuring the Blue Angels under beautiful sunny skies. The Angels were established in 1946 by order of Chester W. Nimitz, the Chief of Naval Operations. They performed at Craig Field in Jacksonville, Florida for the very first time that year and continue to be a crowd favorite today with a maximum speed of just under Mach 2 or about 1,400 miles an hour. Other exciting aircraft featured were the F-22 Raptor, the new Air Force fighter aircraft. The F-22 is a critical component of the Global Strike Task Force. It's designed to project air dominance rapidly and at great distances. The F-22 cannot be matched by any known or projected fighter aircraft. United Airlines flew one of the largest commercial aircraft in operation at slow speed for a real bird's eye view of the bay. There was an amazing aerobatic display by Lucas. Better hold on to your hat for this one and fasten your seatbelt. This is definitely an A-ticket ride. And finally, our friends to the north, the Canadians, joined in with both ships and aircraft. The CF-18 demonstration team personifies the excellence required to keep the Royal Canadian Air Force among the best aviation organizations on the planet. The air show was another success. Well, before we leave you with this episode, if you'd like to follow activities or learn more about the Naval Postgraduate School using social media, here's how. You know, you can get the latest news and information on the Naval Postgraduate School as it happens through the university's official Twitter site. Follow NPS and stay connected and stay informed at twitter.com/NPS Monterey. Well, that's it for this edition of Inside the Naval Postgraduate School, on location in San Francisco at the 31st Annual Fleet Week Activity Celebration. Thanks for joining us. We'll look for you next time at SPAWAR in San Diego on Inside NPS here on the Pentagon Channel. Bye-bye, everyone.
There's a lot of reasons that we do Mountain Fest. Mountain Fest is a week-long series of events. As we're going on right now here at the softball fields, we've got sporting events. It's an opportunity for units to compete against other units to ultimately try to win the Commander's Cup.
To me, Mountain Fest is more like coming together as a team, you know, just compete with each other and other units to be successful, you know. Learning new people, not knowing who they are, bonding together through sports is a pretty dope thing to have.
This is a big year. It's the 80th anniversary of our assault on Riva Ridge. It's the 40th anniversary of the 10th Mountain Division standing up at Fort Drum, New York. And ultimately, you know, just 2 weekends ago, we celebrated the Army's 250th birthday. So all of that culminating in a week-long series of events.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Inside the Naval Postgraduate School. From the beautiful Rose Garden here on the campus of NPS in Monterey, California, I'm your host, Alan Richmond, right here on the Pentagon Channel. Thanks for joining us. Well, coming up in this episode of Inside NPS, we'll look at the Joint Interagency Field Exploration down at Camp Roberts, California. We'll look at off-road kart research and a new UAV called Puma. We'll also visit with an EOD officer who happens to be an NPS student on explosive remnants of war collection points. First, we all know we live in a world, of course, of acronyms, and GIFX is just but yet another of them, JIFX. Aha, what does it mean, you ask? Well, we're on the road again and out in the field with Ray Bittner from NPS to find out. Welcome to GIFX.
Yeah, GIFX is Joint Interagency Field Exploration, and it's the result of a research proposal we provided to the Office of Secretary of Defense, ATNL, suggesting that we take the successful TNT program that we conduct for the Special Operations community, take that same model that has been going on since 2002 here at the Naval Postgraduate School, and adjust that to the needs not only of the Special Operations community, but the joint warfighter and the interagency community that supports our combatant commanders around the globe.
Well, as in many cases, it's all about collaboration. Who comes to GIFX and who's involved?
So the main leads out here at GIFX and the folks that OSD sponsors us to support are the combatant commander S&T representatives. So the combatant commanders around the globe, the U.S. has geographical combat commanders, Central Command, which are the folks who are fighting the current wars, Pacific Command, which with our pivot to the Pacific Theater, their vast AOR covering the largest percentage of the globe of any of the combatant commanders is supported by our work here. At home, NORTHCOM is out here looking for ways they can better protect the homeland as their mission, and a few regions in the Caribbean basin that fall under their responsibility. So we're really reaching out to provide an integrating mechanism, if you will, where they can come and see a lot of exploration, a lot of technologies. Now, there's more than 50 experiments right now. We've got more than 70 companies and other non-federal agencies. So we put this mix together just like we were successful with TNT for those combatant commanders so they can get a very rich understanding of where capability might take them. And those technology providers can understand the requirements that those combatant commanders have. So if we can shorten that gap, we'll have more effective, lower risk acquisition eventually and get better things to those warfighters and first responder warfighters more quickly and more efficiently.
So really, as in many cases with research at NPS, it's about collaboration and communication, isn't it?
It's interesting that many of these companies are technology and collaboration companies from a technological perspective, but there aren't many events that allow them to collaborate to this level with the technology and about the technology. You know, a trade show or a straight demonstration doesn't allow them to take things in the field in 100-degree temperatures as we have now, and work with 6 other companies that have capabilities that enhance their technology. And we've had great examples out here this time from big companies like Boeing and Lockheed Martin working together to little companies that, you know, have 5, 10 people, all sharing technology, working together to solve each other's problems.
And the bottom line is it really supports national security and focuses on solutions for the warfighter, right?
The environment we create out here is intensely collaborative. So folks have to be free to explore or play with new concepts and new ideas. And as we try to do that, the warfighter in this case sometimes is that National Guardsman, sometimes it's the firefighter or the Emergency Operations Center person.
Well, as always, special thanks to NPS professor Ray Bittner and to all the researchers who do such important work in the field in support of the warfighter. Well, stay with us. Coming up after the break, we'll look at explosive remnants of war collection points with an NPS EOD officer. Stay with us. Well, while we were on the road down at Camp Roberts, California in the field, we happened upon an NPS EOD officer by the name of Luke Cummings. And Luke has a project called Explosive Remnants of War Collection Points, and it's certainly in support of the warfighter.
I am Lieutenant Deward Cummings. I am currently finishing my research for my Explosive Remnants of War Collection Point project here at the Naval Postgraduate School under the Defense Analysis, Special Operations, Irregular Warfare curriculum.
Well, Lieutenant, we always like to follow our NPS alum, and I'm wondering if you can start off by telling us a little bit about the time you were at the Naval Postgraduate School.
Coming to NPS was actually a unique opportunity for me because I'm an EOD officer, getting into defense analysis and doing the Special Operations, Irregular Warfare curriculum. Was great. It just fits so well into what we do in the field, you know, on a daily basis, which is beyond the scope of the normal special forces guys that go through the program. And it gave me a great opportunity to take a problem set that I had when I was out operating to an academic environment and look at it through that lens, find a solution for it, and then get it back out to the field as quick as I could.
So can you describe your project and your thesis work for us?
So anywhere in the world that there has been conflict, there is something left over from that conflict. And in a generalized term, it's called explosive remnants of war. That's bullets laying on the ground, anti-personnel mines, mortars, RPGs, anything you can think of, small arms, light weapons, anti-personnel mines, land mines, anti-tank mines, that whole spectrum of ordnance is all left over somewhere, whether it's in an active weapons cache or it's pulled off of an IED after the IED has been disrupted. That's all considered explosive remnants of war. It's all a hazard, is what it boils down to. And when I was operating in the field, I did quite a bit. I did some humanitarian demining missions. I'm an EOD guy, so by trade, it is my job to dispose of ERW when we find it, when we're called to it. So I've done it for many years, and I kept running into a common theme. Finding it is not the issue. That happens inadvertently every day, unfortunately, a lot of times. What the problem is finding a way to quickly dispose of it. It'd be great if we could go all over the world and simultaneously dispose of all the ERW, but that's just not realistic. So once something is found, it has to be stored while it waits for disposal. That's where the issue is. There was a capabilities gap to basically collect and store small amounts of ERW, and the optimal situation would be don't touch it. And that's what you preach as an EOD guy, as a humanitarian deminer. Don't touch it, mark it, report it, we'll come take care of it later. That's where the other capabilities gap comes from. We can't do that all the time. And that local farmer, whoever's trying to utilize that piece of land or that area, simply can't wait weeks or months or even days for us to come out, or that local authority to come out and try to dispose of it for him. So as much as we would like him not to, they're going to pick it up and they're going to move it. And I'd much rather have them pick it up and move it to a known collection point than walk up to the village elder or a uniformed security personnel, whatever the case is, and say, here's a piece of ordnance, please take care of this for me. That's the worst case scenario. So if these guys are going to pick it up, which the reality is that they do, as much as we would like them not to, they're going to pick it up. If they're going to pick it up, they need to be able to store it somewhere and secure it so it doesn't become a precursor, or basically what it does is it enters the IED cycle. It starts to become part of the IED process, or it sits out in the open and continues to degrade and becomes more and more sensitive as it's exposed to the elements.
I'm wondering if you can tell us step by step the process of how you actually build this device.
So the process has to be simple. In order for it to be adopted and implemented and used by that local population, it needs to be as easy as it can be. Nobody likes to do extra work. So you begin with clearing a nice level spot. And then you essentially are building a core and then a shell around that core with a reinforcement of some kind in the middle. And it's a really simple process. You're using fiber reinforced material. So the acquisition of the material, that's all pre-hand. You do that before you get to building your structure. But the methodology is the same regardless of what you're using, whether you're using tires as your reinforcement or bamboo or just plain sticks, woven sticks together. Whatever that local population has used for centuries to build whatever structures they have, you're essentially reinforcing that with fiber reinforced concrete. And you're doing it in a cylinder. That's really all you're doing. There's a placement method that's no different than building an adobe wall, where you build 6 to 8 inch layers at a time. As you go up, you let it sit for a couple of hours, come back, build another layer, come back, build another layer, and it just goes up. And when you get to the right height, you stop. And then there's a poured method, which you see gets the nice smooth sides. But this one that we're looking at right here, that was built level by level, and then the outside was just smoothed off. And inside this one is just hemp net. So you build your core level by level, and then you wrap it in your reinforcement, which in this case is hemp net or jute netting. And then you seal all that up with another layer, and then you cap it off with a lid that's made in the same design. So once you get the structure up, you let it set and you let it cure. And as soon as it is cured, depending on your weather conditions, it's ready for ordnance to go in it, or ERW to go in it right away.
Well, yesterday was certainly a big day with the demonstration that you provided to a pretty big audience, and a lot of the COCOMs were here to witness this. How were you feeling about that?
Well, I was obviously very nervous because I was hoping everything was going to work well.
Burn a hole! Burn a hole! Burn a hole!
And it could not have gone better. It absolutely went as good as it could have gone. We hit all of our design requirements, and the parameters were all met. And it's great that it happened in front of everybody. And that's why we're here. That's what GIFX is for, and that's what NPS puts on events like this is for, is to bring those folks who normally wouldn't have the opportunity to see this and not necessarily be involved in all the research and the development and that process. They get to come see the end product, and if they like what they see, they have the authority to say, implement this as quick as we can.
How do you feel knowing that this technology and your project, the end result of your project, is actually going to be going back to the front line in support of the warfighter, in many cases, first responders?
And not so much the guys, but it's the indigenous populations that the guys are out there trying to help. Those regions that are trying to stabilize, but they can't for a whole slew of reasons. But one of the variables is, if you've got a minefield, you can't plant your crop, as an example. And with the demining efforts and a lot of that stuff, there simply isn't the full spectrum of, okay, we can dispose of this stuff immediately and get the process going. There's a whole slew of variables that are really hard to get into, in this venue. But essentially what this is doing is it's providing an interim solution, that it's filling that capabilities gap that existed. And if we can get that done, then it's been a success.
Well, it's a pretty unique story and situation, having been on the front lines and then back to an academic environment, solve the problem, and then take it back to the front lines again. I'm just wondering, what's the way ahead? What's the next step?
Venues just like GIFX. It's anybody who's been involved with acquisitions or the approval process of getting anything out in the field understands how difficult it is. For me to come from the field to NPS, do my research, do my thesis, and then have the opportunity to stay on and go after and do what I'm doing now, which is essentially fielding it. And GIFX provides that platform for the COCOMs to come look at what we're doing. Other international aid organizations, all the people that need to be involved in helping to resolve the ERW problem, they can come here, they can see this solution firsthand, and the turnaround is incredible. It's going to be 24 months from me coming from the field with a problem, finding a solution, and then getting that solution out to the guys, out to the warfighters within 24 months is pretty impressive. And that's all part of the NPS process.
Well, as you know by now, NPS collaborates with many different agencies and institutions, and one of them happens to be Lawrence Livermore National Lab. Here's Dr. Lorenz.
At the High Explosives Application Facility, we develop explosives and explosives formulation for the National Nuclear Mission of the stockpile, and we also develop explosives for work for others. For example, under Memorandum of Understanding for the Department of Defense. It's been in existence, the High Explosives Application Facility, for about 20 years. So it's a new facility, cutting edge for the nation. This work is in cooperation with the Naval Postgraduate School to develop an explosives remnants of war containment capability. It's a new kind of work for us because it's having to do with blast effects, non-traditional explosives work. We generally deal with ideal high explosives work. This is a little bit different in terms of mitigating blast in a very non-traditional environment. But NPS came to us asking about some help, and we have some capabilities at the High Explosives Application Facility, cutting edge diagnostics, high-speed cameras, blast gauges, contained firing facilities, a lot of things that are not typically available at other places around the country. So they came to us and we were very happy to help them. The partnership is fantastic. It's a long-standing partnership. The work comes and goes. There's a lot of different projects that come about every year. This is a new project and we welcome it because it's got such impact for our forces around the world. And it was particularly interesting when it was presented to us, and it was a new kind of project, so we could study blast effects, and it's new work for us. We're always learning at the High Explosive Application Facility, so when a new project comes along, it excites the workers, it excites the investigators, and it benefits our partners at NPS.
Well, we'd like to thank everybody who is involved in this very important supportive project of the warfighter down at Camp Roberts. Well, coming up next, research into Puma. You'll not want to miss that. Also, you can get the latest news and information on the Naval Postgraduate School as it happens through the university's official Twitter site. Follow NPS and stay connected and stay informed at twitter.com/NPS Monterey. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. Well, UAVs play a huge role in supporting the warfighter. And while we were at Camp Roberts, we got an update on Puma with Martin Cowley.
So the Puma is a UAV system manufactured by AV. It's the largest of our family of UAVs that are small, portable, rugged, and hand launchable. So the Puma is approximately 10-foot wingspan, weighs 13 pounds, and can fly for just over 2 hours. The normal payload that a Puma carries is a camera payload. It carries an EO camera, an IR camera, and a laser illuminator. And this is a gimbal camera, so it can look around in all directions during flight. For this particular exercise today, we have installed an additional modular payload, which is a communication relay, so that it will allow dispersed ground forces with handheld radios that may no longer be in contact because of terrain features or because of distance. They're no longer in connectivity. If we put the Puma up with a communication relay, it will reestablish link for them. We've done this on many occasions over the last couple of years on military frequencies, and this time at the relief exercise, this is the first time that we've used the civilian emergency response first responder band of radio frequencies.
Boeing also plays a role with Puma.
We have come to a TNT event here before with a unit that was programmed for military frequencies, and that unit went directly from TNT of May of 2011 into theater. It's been there for 14 months, supporting active evaluation and actual missions. They are never going to send it back, is the word that we've got. So we produced more military units, but this particular unit is modified to work with civil frequencies to provide connectivity for handheld radios for first responders and emergency where they don't have connectivity because of hills and urban structures and things like that. So the UAV is a tremendous small tactical UAV that can be deployed practically out of a trunk, is a tremendous asset because it's like being able to launch your own personal satellite and putting a communication relay in it, but for instantaneous use, and whether it's military or civilian use.
Well, from UAVs, time to do a little off-roading. Come on along.
Well, we're part of the JIOWC, the Joint Information Operational Warfare Center, and our branch is the
JAWG Vulnerability Assessment Branch. And what we are doing, we're funded to test the vulnerabilities of systems and act as a red team. So we stress the system, let the vendor know what their issues might be so that they can fix those problems in the development process to avoid costs, mitigations to the warfighter, et cetera, et cetera. This is one of our platforms. We have several here on site with us, and it has the capability right now to provide or simulate system-on-system interference. It's more mobile, but we can suite out any of our equipment with the rack here, so it can be used for other things as well. Inside, we have several RF amplifiers and signal generators to create our own signal and boost the power. And we hook them up to the antennas, and depending on the frequency range, we'll transmit that signal towards the intended target. There's also a spectrum analyzer in there to monitor the RF spectrum. And then once we locate it, then we'll hook up the SIGGEN and the amplifiers. We modified it and put over, it's a commercially available piece of gear, but we made our modifications, all the back stuff, added about a little over 1,000 pounds with modifications and equipment. And those 2K Honda generators power everything on there. Basically, it's used as a test vehicle for equipment, and it's been in operation about 2 years now. And we can go anywhere. We've operated on the sand. We've operated up the mountains over here in Camp Roberts. Basically, a more mobile platform that our bigger 450, our bigger instrumentation vehicles can't get to emulate that mobile red team adversary.
Well, Justin, thanks very much for that off-road adventure. Well, coming up next, it's the NPS Spotlight, and this time it falls on distinguished NPS professor Dr. Nancy Hagel, who was recently awarded a Fulbright Scholar Award for research and lecturing for her work in near-field scanning optical microscopy. Her work will take her to Hebrew University in Israel, where she'll have the opportunity to work and learn from the head of the Department of Applied Sciences, Professor Aaron Lewis, a world-renowned expert and a pioneer in near-field imaging techniques. Congratulations to Dr. Nancy Hagel. Well, as we close the show today, we want to thank you for joining us. And on a somber note, we'd like to salute two gentlemen who had a big role in NPS history and the NPS community. Rear Admiral Robert McNitt passed away peacefully on Sunday, August 12th at his home in Annapolis, Maryland. He was 97. McNitt served as superintendent of the Naval Postgraduate School from 1967 to 1971. He completed a detailed program of study in physics and ordnance engineering at NPS before finalizing requirements for Master of Science degree in mechanical engineering from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. After a year aboard the heavy cruiser Chicago and 3 years as chief engineer of the destroyer Rhind, McNitt completed 5 successful World War II war patrols as executive officer of the submarine Barb, receiving 2 Silver Star medals. Upon completing his studies at NPS and MIT, he served as gunnery officer in the aircraft carrier Midway and helped design the Navy's first underwater atomic weapon at the Naval Ordnance Laboratory. McNitt is credited for inspiring many young men and women throughout his naval career, including a Southern California high school student named Mike Mullen, who would become the first NPS alumnus to serve as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and acknowledged McNitt's role of his success during his induction speech into the NPS Hall of Fame. Admiral James D. Watkins passed away on Thursday, July 26th at his home in Virginia at the age of 85. A 1958 mechanical engineering graduate of the Naval Postgraduate School, Watkins went on to become Chief of Naval Operations, Secretary of Energy, and later a member of the university's Hall of Fame. Following a highly decorated 37-year naval career, Watkins was asked by then-President Ronald Reagan to lead the embattled Presidential Commission on AIDS in 1987, for which he was widely praised. He also served as Secretary of Energy under President George H.W. Bush and is considered one of NPS's most notable alumni. On the heels of decades of service to the Navy, Watkins found a new passion in our world's oceans. He served as chairman of the Commission on Ocean Policy and was deeply committed to advancing fishing and anti-pollution regulations and decreasing dependence on foreign oil. His memory lives on in the halls of the Naval Postgraduate School and in Watkins Hall, the building named in his honor. Thanks for joining us for this edition of Inside NPS. From Monterey, California, I'm your host, Alan Richman. We'll see you next time.
Oh my gosh. Hey babe, I just want to let you know I just finished up game night at the bar and I'll be home in like 15 to 20 minutes.
Are you sure you're okay to drive, babe? Do you want me to come pick you up?
Yeah, I didn't drink tonight, babe. I'm just tired, so I'm good to drive. I'll be home in a bit, all right?
If it becomes necessary to upgrade or modify your home or vehicle as a result of a service-connected disability, you may be wondering how you're going to pay for it. After all, these types of upgrades or modifications can get expensive. Fortunately, the VA offers several programs that might be able to help, both for housing and vehicles. First, let's talk about housing grants. The two big programs here are the Specially Adapted Housing Grant and the Special Housing Adaptation Grant. Both are available for service members and veterans who are looking to buy, build, or upgrade a home to accommodate their disability. Each grant has its own qualification criteria, application process, and maximum payout amount, with the Specially Adapted Housing Grant offering the most assistance. The third grant we'll mention today is the Temporary Residence Adaptation Grant. This grant is for those who qualify for at least one of the grants we just covered and who are temporarily living in a family member's home that requires modifications to meet their needs. As the name implies, this grant provides funds for these modifications. To learn more about each of these grants, including how to apply for them, visit the website shown on the screen. One quick related item. If you currently live in base housing or plan to, be sure to check with your base housing office to address any specific housing needs you may have. Now, let's briefly talk about vehicles. Having a vehicle that accommodates your disability is obviously important, and the VA offers programs to help here as well. For those who qualify, there is a grant program to help with the purchase of a specially equipped vehicle, and there are other grants available to help offset the costs of adaptive equipment that may be needed. The website on the screen contains more information on these programs. So that's it for our discussion of housing and transportation needs in the case of a service-connected disability. Now, let's move on to our next topic.
Ready to go. Ready to go.
Welcome to Tour of Duty at Nellis Air Force Base, Nevada. I'm Tech Sergeant Dan Duncan.
And I'm Senior Airman Alana Ingram. In the next 30 minutes, we're going to show you why Nellis Air Force Base is such a great place to live, work, and play.
From unique base missions to housing and recreation, we'll show you why Nellis should be at the top of your gotta go there list when Tour of Duty returns.
back to Tour of Duty. Nellis Air Force Base earned its name in memory of Lieutenant William H. Nellis, a P-47 combat pilot who lost his life during an airstrike against a German counteroffensive near Bastogne, Belgium during the Battle of the Bulge. His legacy lives on today. More than just the center of excellence within the Air Force and a beautiful place to live, work, and play, this is the home of the future Air and Space Warriors.
Nellis is probably best known as the home of the fighter pilot and the Thunderbirds, but we'd like to start your tour with a facility that caters to the smallest members of Team Nellis, kids.
The Nellis Child Development Center has a friendly and dedicated staff and flexible hours to meet the challenging schedule of today's warfighters.
I really love here in Nellis. It's a very structured program. Our curriculum is awesome. It teaches our kids a lot of cognitive skills, social skills. It's very sociable, so I like doing kindergarten here in Nellis.
We host the largest Army Air Force base exchange in the United States.
The things that I like about the BX and Nellis is the prices, for one. They don't price gouge you. They make it easier for the people in uniform to actually get a fair price, especially in Las Vegas, because it is so expensive to live here. You get a fair deal, and you get the same quality stuff that you get on the outside, but at a better price.
We've also expanded our commissary to rival any grocery store off base.
It's the biggest commissary I've ever seen compared to all other Air Force bases or any other base. In fact, big selection of produce. And for myself, I'm Asian, so got a lot of Asian selections too in one aisle.
I like the commissary because it's really convenient. I mean, you can walk in and get what you need, and then you can just like get in line. It doesn't take long. I mean, you go off base and it takes forever, literally, and you can pretty much find everything you need for like home ingredients and everything.
I think it's nice because there's a different variety of foods here, so you can just get whatever you need and get food and items.
When our community has health needs, they visit the Michael O'Callaghan Federal Hospital. It's not only the second largest medical facility in Air Combat Command, it's one of only 10 Veterans Affairs military joint ventures ever created. With over 1,300 devoted employees, the facility offers more than 55 medical subspecialties. This joint partnership meets the medical dental needs of Nellis personnel and members in the local area.
The Air Expeditionary Force is alive and well at Nellis. And to keep our air and space warriors fit to fight, Runner's World was created. A 1.5 mile serpentine track with a rubberized surface to minimize impact on your knees, back, and shins. When the weather heats up, the track is well lit for nighttime running. Or you can visit the fully equipped air-conditioned gym, open 24 hours to meet everyone's fitness needs.
The fitness center at Nellis is a great place because it's open 24 hours and it has a variety of equipment available. It's friendly, it's clean, it's just a great place to work out.
I like the Nellis Fitness Center because the weights, they offer a lot of free weights there. I like the cardio room because it's got an ample supply of machines to work on, and they have a racquetball, and they're open at good times, so you can go any schedule, and it's one of the better facilities that I've been to in my Air Force career.
After a long day outdoors, you can kick back and relax in one of the 1,278 2, 3, and 4 bedroom homes located in 2 areas, Nellis Terrace and Manch Manor. Unaccompanied airmen also have spacious housing. Nellis provides 16 enlisted dormitories accommodating nearly 1,300 enlisted. The facilities are centrally located and provide a comfortable home for Nellis's single community. All have spacious day rooms, laundry facilities, parking, and ample storage space. Some are equipped with individual bathrooms, along with outdoor entertainment and barbecue areas.
Ready to go.
The stage for winning the air battle is Nellis Air Force Base, home to advanced fighter pilot training and combat tactics. Beginning in 1940, Nellis grew its roots out of a company known as Western Air Express, a burgeoning airline that operated regular airmail and passenger service between Los Angeles and Salt Lake City. While scouting locations for bombing and aerial gunner training, the Army Air Corps discovered Western Air Express and quickly began joint usage of the runway and facility. With the outbreak of World War II, the demand for aerial gunner, rocket dive bomber training grew, transforming the little airfield into a cornerstone of aviation research and experimentation, resulting in better combat Air Force tactics and training.
As the Air Force entered the jet age, airplanes and munitions became more complex and sophisticated, demanding greater airspace to operate in freely and test safely. With changing air battle threats, this evolution of technology and tactics continues today and forms the foundation of the U.S. Air Force Warfare Center, the center of excellence in managing advanced pilot training and tactics development for the combat air forces. Under Air Combat Command, the center has blossomed into several dynamic organizations. The 57th Wing, the largest composite wing in the Air Force, with 12 different weapon systems and over 130 aircraft, is home to many unique missions.
The United States Air Force Weapons School teaches graduate-level weapons instructor courses, which provide the world's most advanced training in weapons and tactics employment to officers of the combat air forces. Students perfect delivery of air and space power. Red Flag, where American and Allied forces can practice against the latest threat systems in the most realistic air combat training environment in the world. The Air Ground Operations School teaches how to integrate air and ground forces through training and realistic battle exercises at the National Training Center, Fort Irwin, California. They also conduct close air support exercises out of Barksdale Air Force Base in support of the Army's Joint Readiness Training Center at Fort Polk, Louisiana.
Distinctive missions are not uncommon at Nellis Air Force Base. Combat search and rescue provided by the 66th Rescue and the 58th Pararescue Squadrons, are responsible for worldwide combat rescue in support of our air forces. They also provide rescue support over the Nellis Range Complex and backup rescue for civilian agencies in the local area and greater southwestern United States. The 11th, 15th, and 17th Reconnaissance Squadrons provide unmanned aerial reconnaissance, surveillance, and target acquisitions, target prosecution, and produce near real-time multi-sensor imagery and intelligence and battle damage assessment for our warfighters.
The Thunderbirds are our ambassadors in blue. They fly precision aerial maneuvers to exhibit the capabilities of modern high-performance aircraft and the high degree of professional skills required to operate these aircraft in a precise aerial demonstration. They have thrilled audiences around the world for the past 50 years. The 53rd Test and Evaluation Group is the focal point for the Combat Air Force in electronic combat, armament and avionics, chemical defense, reconnaissance, command and control, and aircrew training devices. Although the 53rd Wing is home based out of Florida and has 17 different locations around the United States, their Test and Evaluation Group is located here at Nellis. In addition to all the aircraft they fly, they're working hard to bring the FA-22 Raptor into full operation.
The 98th Range Wing manages the Nevada Test and Training Range. Stretching over 3 million acres, more than 12,000 square miles of airspace, and encompassing 2 airfields. This is where our operational combat air forces come to hone their combat skills, using advanced composite force training, testing, and tactics. More than 55% of all Air Force munitions are released across the Nevada Test and Training Range. And more than 75% of all munitions dropped in the continental United States are dropped here. Without this range and its more than 1,600 realistic targets, realistic array of air defense systems, and its complex and robust data collection and processing, the Air Force would not be able to train its warfighters on how we fight. We fight the way we train, to win wars for America.
Ancestors of 17 contemporary tribes once occupied the land that is now the Nevada Test and Training Range. Working with Native Americans and archaeologists, we're protecting their ancestral habitation and sacred properties. In fact, only 5% of the land is disturbed by range activities. The foundation for supporting these dynamic and varied missions lies in the capable hands of the men and women of the 99th Air Base Wing. It's the home of the Ground Combat Training Squadron, responsible for warrior skills training of Air Combat Command security forces in desert warfare combat operations. The Nevada Test and Training Range is the only Air Force location in the United States that our security forces can fire their complete inventory, small arms to heavy weaponry, at full distance. Additionally, Creech Air Force Base provides an ideal environment to practice combat tactics in an operational airbase environment.
Ready to go.
Nellis ensures that those who perform these missions are well taken care of. From services to assistance, every need is met. Nellis Air Force Base marches to an intense operational tempo while serving as a flagship of challenging missions.
Nellis is ACC's largest base. Flying Wing. The 99th is the largest air base wing. We have the largest mission support group and security forces group here at Nellis. We support ACC's largest equipment maintenance squadron, aircraft maintenance squadron, operation support squadron, civil engineer squadron, and logistics readiness squadron. Nellis also manages ACC's largest supply account.
Ready to go.
The size of a small city, employing nearly 11,000 permanent party personnel, Nellis also supports over 55,000 flight missions and 400,000 visitors annually. Between military and civilian payrolls, retirees visiting and living here, TDY visitors and contracting awards, Nellis pumps an amazing $1 billion into the Las Vegas economy. But despite the intense operations tempo, there's time to enjoy parts of Nevada that are just a short drive from the base.
10 miles from Nellis is the 24-hour entertainment capital of the world. Between eye-catching sights and shows, there's plenty to see and do.
There's more to Nevada than just casinos. For people who love the great outdoors, there's plenty to do, just a short drive from the base.
Mount Charleston offers excellent skiing and snowboarding. If you prefer your ski surface a bit wetter, beautiful Lake Mead may be just the ride you're looking for. Spectacular views is what you'll find in the Valley of Fire, along with many vertical challenges for climbing enthusiasts. Hoover Dam is an ideal place to stand back and marvel at man's ingenuity. Red Rock is the perfect getaway to see many of the desert's unique animals. The Las Vegas Motor Speedway, located directly across the highway from Nellis, hosts Busch and NASCAR racing. If you're feeling the need for speed, you can hit the Speedway Oval yourself, courtesy of the Richard Petty Driving Experience.
There are just as many activities on base as there are off base.
Besides our two 18-hole golf courses, if you enjoy the great outdoors, Nevada has many breathtaking and diverse activities for everyone within an hour or two of the base.
If you don't have your own equipment to do all these wonderful activities, don't worry. The Nellis Outdoor Rec Center is here to make sure you don't miss out on any of the fun.
We've got kayaks for paddlecraft. We've got 14 canoes, 3 tandem kayaks, 3 single kayaks, and 2 sit-on-top kayaks, like you can see here, as well as a large number of fishing boats. We have bass trackers, 3 of those, 4 crest liners, and 4 aluminum boats, aluminum craft, and 1 pontoon boat. So we're very well equipped to take care of the fisherman or the person that just wants to putt around out on the lake.
During the past 30 minutes, we've shown you just some of the many diverse and one-of-a-kind missions accomplished here every day at Nellis, from testing new air and space platforms like the Predator and FA-22 to supporting the global war on terror.
And we've given you just a glimpse of the many outdoor activities you can enjoy during the 300-plus cloudless days a year here in the Las Vegas Valley.
So now that you've seen what our base has to offer, we invite each of you to join Team Nellis, home of the fighter pilot, and so much more.
Thanks for watching Tour of Duty.
Right here on the Pentagon Channel.
Ready to go. Ready to go.
A promotion is a great time to celebrate your professional achievements and successes. It's also not a bad time to figure out the next step in your career. Think about it. You have a reliable job and paycheck, so why not explore ways to further develop yourself professionally? And guess what? The Department of Defense agrees. Check out the DoD Career Ready portal listed below and prepare your career for transition from the military to the civilian sector. Here's what you need to know. There are 3 Career Ready programs offered through the Department of Defense that can help you grow in your profession and increase your earning potential. First up, the United Services Military Apprenticeship Program offers opportunities to enhance your skills and expand your post-service career options. Take your career into your own hands and consider registering for an apprenticeship related to your MOS. You can even earn a U.S. Department of Labor Certificate of Completion for programs you complete. These certificates are nationally recognized and can be an advantage in getting a better job in the future. Visit the United Services Military Apprenticeship Program website shown below to identify and register for apprenticeships, track progress, and report completion. Next, the Credentialing Opportunities Online Program, or COOL for short, can help you determine if your military experience translates into a civilian credential. Think about all the training, education, and experience you've received throughout your military career. The COOL program has mapped over 1,700 civilian licenses and certificates to military skills, and that number increases all the time. To learn more about this helpful program, visit the website shown below. And finally, the Tuition Assistance Program may provide you with support to further your education. As they say, learn more, earn more. So consider taking advantage of the tuition assistance to earn an associate, bachelor's, or even graduate degree. For more information about this valuable program, visit the website shown below. So that's it. Invest in yourself today to prepare for more career options and opportunities tomorrow.
Leaders, I want to emphasize the importance of supporting emergency essential employees and volunteer civilians to deploy, even when it presents short-term challenges to your units. And while losing a team member, even temporarily, may require adjustments, the long-term benefits for both the Army and the individual are immeasurable. Deployment gives our civilians a rare opportunity to serve alongside soldiers in combat and in the field. These experiences build stronger, more capable teammates who return with a renewed sense of purpose, expanded skills, and a better appreciation for the mission we all share. When our civilians deploy, they become force multipliers. Not only do they provide critical support, they contribute directly to the operational success and national defense. So I urge you to consider the larger Army mission and allow your emergency essential employees and volunteer civilians to deploy. They are a critical part of achieving peace through credible strength and deterrence. This will defend.
Whether this is your first deployment or your 10th, it's important to have a solid financial plan in place before you leave. To help with that, here are 3 financial planning tips to set you up for success. Tip number 1, know your income and expenses. This is all about really knowing your current income and expenses, as well as what might change because of your deployment. For instance, here's a list of some potential income changes you might experience. Will you be impacted by any of these items? On the flip side, you may also experience changes in your expenses. Tip number 2, set achievable goals. Think about what you want to accomplish financially. Maybe you plan to use extra deployment income to pay off debt payment on a car or a house,